Joe Rogan Podcast. Check it out.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
Train by day, Joe Rogan Podcast by night, all day.
Hello, Cliff. What's happening?
What's up, man?
Nice to meet you in person.
You too.
We've been chatting back and forth online for quite a while now.
Yeah, man. You know, it's funny. I was looking at it. I think it's been like 5 or 6 years since our first interaction.
How did you get involved being a hunting guide? What's your path to that?
Yeah, man. So I guess it's a long story. You know, I grew up in a rural area. My dad was a cattle rancher, and then he did a little outfitting when I was a kid. And then it's kind of a long story, man, because I thought this was normal when I was a kid, but when my dad was an adult, he was a cattle rancher, and then he went back to vet school. And so he actually left outfitting and cattle ranching and pursued that. And that was when he was like in his 40s, you know? And so that was my first exposure to, you know, being an outfitter or guiding was through my father. And then honestly, man, like growing up, I hunted all the time. I've been obsessed with, you know, hunting since I was 10, 12 years old. And then I went and kind of did a more traditional, I guess, lifestyle. I went to school, went to undergrad, went to business school, and then I worked in finance for a few years. And I mean, we can get deep into like why that didn't last. You know,
Maybe you can help us explain why the banks are failing right now.
I don't know, man. It's been so long since I've been in that world.
What a different contrast, though. The contrast between that world and the world that you live in now.
Dude, it's crazy to think about because I still know people that, you know, are finance guys. My brother's a finance guy.
Does he live in hell?
Yeah,
He can't be happy.
Yeah. He's doing all right because he doesn't all the investment strategies that he's do for the most part like hedge type of strategies, but he's doing okay. But yeah, it's a different world, man.
It's definitely a different world.
Yeah. And I always look back on my path and I think like, well, did I choose the right thing? I don't know, but I'm happy. So I guess
if you're happy, you chose the right thing. But there's no right thing. There's just like life and decisions. And this idea that you're going to like, oh, I wish I could do it differently. Well, you definitely can't, so don't wish that. There's no way you can do it differently unless you have a fucking time machine. And even if you have a time machine, you will already have the knowledge of what happens if you do it wrong. So if you go back and try to do it right, who knows how you're going to fuck that up?
Yeah, sure.
Like, it's not life. Imagine living your life knowing what's going to happen if you do it certain ways. Like that would be a terrible way to live. Like you would never be in the moment. You would be constantly filled with this anxiety of making sure that you don't do the thing that you have already done,
right? So
that you could live your life in a different way. I mean, I can imagine if like, you know, you run a red light and crash into a car and you like go, oh my God, how could I stop that from happening again? I have to make sure I don't do that again.
Sure.
Things like that.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But like a whole life path?
Yeah.
Like change your whole life? And
yeah.
I wish I did it a different way. Well, you definitely didn't, so keep going.
Right. Well, and man, life's so path dependent, you know, and that you get, you know, you choose certain things and there's probably like a million different ways it could go. And, you know, that was like for me, there was a point in my life when I was doing finance. I was a trader when I was a young guy. And, there's just kind of a moment where I'm like, man, dude, I just want to do something else. And then you start down that path and it leads you in wild places, man.
Yeah, well, literally for you.
Yeah, for sure, dude. Look at me right here, where I'm at right now. Like I would have never imagined this in my wildest dreams, dude.
That's funny, but I meant wild places like the wild, like
the
woods.
Yeah.
You know, that too. Both things are kind of wild.
Yeah.
So how did you make this choice to like get off the path? Because for a lot of people, I think one of the problems with the path is you get married, you get a house, you have kids, you have responsibilities, and then you're stuck because you really can't change careers because you have so many dependents. There's so many people depending upon you. You have so many responsibilities. You have to kind of just suck it up and keep doing this thing that you don't enjoy for your family.
Yeah. So to answer that question, man, I think I have to be a little humble about it, Joe, because I came from a family, and including my wife. When I met my wife, man, like I was a guy that was well educated and looked like a guy that was going to be on like a traditional path to great success as a finance guy. And that's when I met my wife. And then I tricked her, man, because I switched it up on her, but she stayed with me the whole time. And so I got to give her that, but also my family too, man. Like you can imagine, like, my parents, wanted me to get a great education. I mean, my family, man, like basically lived the American dream. Like none of them, they didn't grow up wealthy, nor did I, but they kept me comfortable. And then, they got great success, and they got success through hard work, and they wanted to see me, have a path of like, go to Wall Street, go be an attorney, go do something like that, because that seemed like the easy path, I think, in their mind, and seemed to make sense, and they were giving me that opportunity. But when I decided not to do that, man, not one time have my parents or my brothers, for that part, said like, dude, you're being an idiot. You know what I mean? Like when I told them like, hey, I'm going to buy, so essentially I bought an outfitting business that had been, pretty much run into the dirt, and it was just federal permitting where I could expand into a bigger, guiding business in Colorado. When I told them I was going to do that, like I was quitting my job at the time, and I had transitioned working for a wealthy family who treated me awesome. But when I said, hey man, I'm gonna go be an outfitter, my parents were like, I mean, my dad was like, sounds awesome. My brother was like, sounds awesome. So I don't think that everybody grows up in a family that's that supportive of it. So I don't want to say that like I, did it all. Like I'm just a guy that just said, hey, I'm going to do something cool and independent. It was what I wanted to do. And I had support, man. So I can't.
Well, that's very fortunate.
Yeah.
That's very fortunate. So so if you're in the middle of this world, this financial world, how did you make that transition? Like, what were the steps involved in making the transition? Did you just immediately up and quit and just figure out how to get a job as an outfitter, or were you already doing some outfitting?
Yeah, so I've been all through my childhood, and and then even when I was an undergrad in school, I hunted all the time. And I had done a bunch of guiding, and I was exposed to it. And the other thing, for my type of outfitting and guiding, I had been exposed to livestock and horses and mules my whole life. And that's a big part of like wilderness outfitting, is you got to be familiar with, how to pack mules, how to pack horses, how to ride horses, up in the mountains, because that's a huge proportion of what I did just to get into remote areas. So, not to dive like into the depth of my childhood, but I was exposed to that, the first 20 years of my life where, I had that skill set. So that's the first part of it. And then, how I actually mechanically did it. I mean, so just to give you some context, me and my brother when I was young, out of business school, me and my brother started a financial company, and it changed in a bunch of different ways, and he still operates it. But when I want to say like 22, 23, I started working for our biggest client, and he was a phenomenal guy, and I was doing more like family wealth management for him. And literally, Joe, I was just kind of struggling day to day with I always wanted to be in the outdoors, and I wanted to go do something else. And I literally just walked into his office, and I was like, Bob, like, I love you, man, but I gotta go. Like, I gotta go do something else. And I kind of had a plan to go back to Colorado. I was born in the area, where I did most of my outfitting and guiding. And it was funny because he looked at me and he kind of laughed, because I think he knew it was coming. Like he knew he came from a different world. Like he'd grown up in, doing business deals and all that. And I grew up from somewhere else. And I think that's why he kind of enjoyed having me around, because we would talk about, our, different backgrounds and stuff. But he was just like, well, the first thing he said is like, Cliff, I'm just going to ask you one time, man, can I give you more money? And I'm like, Bob, we shouldn't even talk about it, man. He's like, all right, dude, go for it.
Well, that's great.
So literally like a week later, me and my wife, we moved to Colorado, and I had
what a supportive wife.
Yeah, dude.
That's
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. she's been epic the whole way.
So how did you go about starting and getting clients? So if you're starting an
Yeah.
outfitting business, you're a young guy, you're leaving the financial sector,
Yeah.
and you're going and starting and getting clients. How do you go about making that happen?
Yeah, so part of how that process worked for me is when I got to Colorado, I started doing some packing and guiding. This is after I worked in finance. So I took like, kind of most people would say a step back in my career. So one day I was like looking at financial models and trading and that sort of thing. And then 3 weeks later, I was like helping guys pack, elk out of the wilderness on mules, that sort of thing. So I started getting exposed to it that way again. And then what I did was I started just looking for a business to buy. And so when you're operating in the wilderness areas, you've got to have federal permitting. So I got all that figured out. I bought a business, and then it's just like hand-to-hand combat, man. Like the first year that I was guiding and outfitting, I think I had, maybe like a dozen clients or something like that. The last year that I outfitted, I had like north of 200 clients.
Wow.
So it's just hand-to-hand combat, and then, as you learn an area. And we can get into the nitty-gritty details of it, but these wilderness areas, there's no roads in them, man. So, you're talking about hundreds of thousands of acres, and you're talking about elk that are pretty heavily pressured. It takes years just the grind of, like, learning the area. And so over time, just step by step, man. And then I started to get good guides working for me over the years, and we all just got where we learned the area, along the way. And then, the reality is the last 3 or 4 years, it was never a problem booking people. We were always booked, and that's how that world is in a lot of ways. Like once you get established and you keep people happy.
And it's like sort of word of mouth.
Yeah, you stay booked.
Hey, I went with Cliff. It was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, he knows how to get there.
Yeah.
What you do is fascinating to me because it's one of the more interesting kinds of hunting where you go really deep in with animals. You bring in mules or horses, and you go very, very deep in to find these animals. And, I think most people on the outside that think about hunting, they don't really understand how grueling it is, how unbelievably difficult it is to get, 15, 20 miles in.
Yeah.
And then if you do shoot an animal, to get that animal out is an unbelievable struggle.
Yeah.
And if you're talking about public land, it's really one of the best ways to find elk or to find really good elk.
Right. Yeah. No, you have to, in a lot of these areas, people think about Colorado, Joe, and they think, so I hunted what technically would have been they say the White River elk herd is the largest elk herd in the world, right? So you have that perception that, oh, okay, well, you go there, you go into the flat tops or you go into the surrounding Forest Service property, and you just put your backpack on, get off the road, and there's going to be elk everywhere. Well, it's a ton of habitat. And the thing about a lot of that country is all the habitat's good. You can go other places and they've got elk, but the only 10% of the actual habitat is going to hold elk, right? Well, the flat tops or, these big chunks of space in Colorado, it's all good elk habitat. Until you get massive amount of snow that limits the feed for elk. Elk could be everywhere. So what I'm getting to is they get crazy dispersed. And the only way to get into a lot of these areas is either backpacking, on your foot hiking, on your feet hiking, or you've got to pack in with horses and mules.
Do you guys go in and set up a wall tent?
Yeah.
And then are you there for weeks or months at a time? How do you do it?
Yeah. So if we're talking, if we're talking elk, the elk as a species, almost all of that was out of wall tent camps, and we packed those in. Now I did a fair amount of sheep and goat guiding too. Most of that we did out of backpacks, just because a lot of the habitat that mountain goats and sheep live in, it's not really conducive to packing with horses, just because you end up getting above timberline, and there's just some logistical reasons. A lot of times it's just better to backpack on them. But on elk, it's almost always you're packing in your camp with horses and mules, and then you're coming back in. Sometimes you'll hunt off foot. You know, if the camp's in a situation where you can cover ground on foot and hunt, then you'll do it that way. But a lot of times you'll actually bring horses back in and hunt horseback too. And that's like a whole, people don't, I mean, you know, taking care of horses, you know, if you got 15 horses and mules in camp, like, you know, 12 miles back in the wilderness, like it's, you know, it feels like going back in time, man.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's why, I mean, honestly, Joe, by the time I sold my main business like 18 months ago. By the time I sold it, the majority of my crew was Amish.
Really?
Yeah.
Amish?
Yeah.
How did you find these guys?
Do they just, so
Because they don't use electricity, right? So like,
yeah. Well, so we could,
it's not like you get them online. Can you get them online? Do they cheat?
So yeah. So, dude, I got some Amish buddies that I love, man, and I don't like Mark, if you're listening, man, and you probably shouldn't be listening because you're Amish, but but no. So the answer to your question, man, is it just depends on, you know, what church they're from and the rules, you know, the rules that they have established, you know, and what they're doing. So if it's for business, a lot of them can use email. They can use your cell phone. Yeah.
Oh, what a hack.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. Then you're not Amish. That's the whole thing. You can't use fucking email.
Well, here's the deal. So they, I'm not an expert at them, but I became very good friends with some of them. You know, because I mean, I had some of them work for me for 4 or 5 years, and man, there's some things about them that are absolutely amazing. You know what I mean? Like
hardworking people.
Hardworking is an understatement, man. And the other thing that's wild about them is I had a lot of very young Amish guys come work for me, and we could get into the details of that. Technically, they hadn't like committed to the Amish church, so they weren't technically Amish yet.
Oh, was it the Rumspringer thing?
Yeah, they would be kind of in that process.
For people who don't know, they have like a time period of an indefinite time period where they're allowed to just run around and party and do drugs and sleep around, and then they have to come back to the church if they want to. Right.
And when they came out to my place, they didn't do any of that stuff other than work. You know, but
wink.
But anyways, they would come out, and what I noticed, man, is if you take an 18-year-old Amish guy and you're just doing stuff around like ranch, because we were outfitting and guiding a lot of time, but we also had to manage the livestock, and we had kind of a ranch that we had to take care of. Those guys at 18, they know a ton because they've already been working for 7 years. You know what I mean? They know how to frame a door. You know, they could show up to my place, Joe, and like they're wearing sandals and shorts, and you're thinking like, this guy's never been around livestock, and you'd be like, hey man, go grab that mule and saddle it. Every single one of them knew how to do it because they grow up catching horses and, you know, putting them on a buggy every day. You know, so it's just wild that they learn all these skill sets that, you know, really early on. So in some ways, like, I don't, you know, from an education standpoint, none of them had a hard time communicating with me, or, you know, we always could get through all that. You know, maybe they didn't have as good as spelling, or they didn't have as good as like algebra skills or something because they missed out on some of that education maybe. But I can tell you from a work ethic and like a hands-on skill set, they're amazing, man.
Yeah, like, that's an education too. It's interesting because we only want to think about education in terms of like things you can use in the corporate world or that you can use in the business world. But the reality of education is you're learning things, and they learn so many things, I'm sure, that the average person who works in an office is never going to understand.
Right.
Take an average guy who works over at Google and say, hey man, go put a saddle on that mule.
Yeah.
And they're like, what the fuck are you talking about, right? That's a learned skill. And it's a learned skill that has a diminished value in our world. But in your world, in the world of outfitters, it's a very high value.
Yeah.
I mean, and the thing about their education too, it's like the homeschooling. I'm sure it varies wildly.
Yeah, and that's why I don't mean to make a judgment
Yeah.
on them. I don't.
I'm sure some of them are like really
Yeah,
good at
yeah.
homeschooling their kids, and some
Yeah.
of them, it's just like regular homeschooling. You know,
Right.
I've met some homeschooled kids that are phenomenal. They're like really interesting kids, but the parents did a great job of giving them a very nuanced education, and then
Sure.
also committing them to activities so they interacted with a lot of kids on a regular basis. They just didn't go to school during the day with kids, and it's like
Right.
if you have that kind of time and that kind of commitment, and you know, maybe you're just not very happy with a regular school system. It's
Right.
not. People used to think that it was a bad idea to homeschool your kids, but during COVID, I think a lot of people kind of opened their eyes. First of all, how difficult it is, but also that there's a value to being there while your children are learning things, so you can kind
Sure.
of communicate with them and go through. Especially if you have an expertise in something,
Right.
like I used to. My youngest daughters used to do martial arts, and it was kind of like a mixed martial arts class. And I would go with them to mixed martial arts class and sit on the sideline. And then a couple of times some stuff came up. And I said to the instructor, I said, actually, you shouldn't really do it that way.
Yeah.
Because, like, they weren't, you know, as a black belt in jiu-jitsu, I'm like,
Yeah,
you're actually exposed. You're going to get your back taken if you teach people this path.
Right.
Like, this is a very vulnerable path. Like, let me show you the difference. And so I'd go on the mat with them and show them the difference. The next thing I know, I'm doing it with my daughter, and I'm having her do it,
Yeah.
and I'm working with little kids. It's really exciting. It's fun
Yeah.
to be able to teach your kids something. And they love that you know something that they can learn. And it's like
yeah.
it gives them pride. So, like, these people that are learning from their families and from their community, it's a completely different way of life, but it's probably a more healthy way of life than
Yeah.
the average person experiences just going to a regular, mundane, sort of, you know, very regimented, traditional school system.
Yeah. No, I think that's for sure the case. I mean,
But the electricity thing's ridiculous.
well, it's funny. Joe, I'll tell you about a conversation I had with one guy that I consider a pretty good friend. And I'll be honest with you, the Amish, from what my observations, they don't make a real strong effort to have like close relationships with people outside of the community. At least I always felt that way. But one individual I would say is a very good friend of mine, and I asked him like, well, dude, like what? It seems like so. It seems like where do you stop the technology? Where do you start? And he actually had a rational explanation. He said, look, man, like we make these judgments, and I think a big part of it is we're just trying to judge like. We know the value of having a certain pace of life, and these technology judgments are based on that. We want to be able to still, succeed, feed our families, because they still got to deal with like the realities of, they got to buy land to have their farms, all that stuff. But he's like, look, it's all about pace of life for us. So if we look at a technology and it's going to change that dynamic, then, certain churches may choose not to do that. So I'm with you, man. Like there's odd things that they do, but I kind of get that explanation too.
I kind of get it, but it's just weird that they have that electricity loophole.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
email loophole. What does it say?
Goodness.
The word processor. A new word processor with more memory and more speed made specifically for the plain people, by the plain people. Is that what they used to call themselves?
I don't know. This is what it comes up in a few advertisements for this. It's called the Classic Seals series.
But is it the advertising is for Amish? Because it's
Yeah.
calling the plain people.
Yeah, it's being sold in rural
Yeah,
Pennsylvania.
look at that.
look for Jake or Jonas.
Shippensburg, Pennsylvania.
Hold on. So what is it here?
It's a word processor,
doesn't
but
even
it's
has
non-electric. Oh, this one
Oh,
does.
This is a little bit
Yeah.
updated.
Oh, but the last one, it looked like it was just it.
It was.
It
That's
looked
correct.
like, what is that? I mean, like, what is powering that fucking thing?
It's got USB, floppy,
What?
no modem, no phone port,
What?
no internet, nothing fancy.
Not just a locked computer, no modem, no phone port, no internet connection, no outside programs, no sound, no photographs, no games, and no gimmicks. Nothing fancy, just a workhorse for your business. High-end word processing, typing tutor, auto spell check, auto word fill. What year is this from?
2008, I think.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Dude, they have a lot of this kind of stuff where they kind of work around the limitations that they're.
That's funny. Look at the
curious.
fucking horse and buggy on the street there, Jamie. Like, that shit is so annoying. If you're ever in rural Pennsylvania and you get stuck behind one of those guys, like, oh,
The article I
Christ.
found this in said that their cell phone usage, though, is kind of common.
Oh,
Yeah,
That's a fucking cheating move.
I think
How
that's
dare you?
that for business in particular, man. I think that's pretty much like standard now.
Well, I guess they'd have to have a phone line. If you're going to have a phone line, why wouldn't
Yeah.
you have a internet line?
Yep.
Or a cell phone line, rather. Yeah, my parents used to live in Harrisburg. So
Oh, okay.
I used to see those folks
Yeah.
when you drive to them. You also drive through the fucking the areas where they raise cattle. It was the worst smell. You know,
Oh, where the Amish were.
it only
raised.
was Amish. No, that didn't have anything to do with Amish. That was just cattle raising. I think that
Oh,
was
okay.
I think that was like, I don't know whether it was factory farming, what kind of farming.
It might have been like I know they feed a lot of silage, you know, like processed feed that's been basically fermenting, and that's what that smell is a lot of the time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That makes sense because it wouldn't be the cow itself.
Yeah, yeah.
I
Do
mean,
you know
if
what
the slaughterhouse smelled
silage? You
that
know what
bad.
silage smells like?
No, I don't. I don't know. What it
So a
smells
lot
like.
of times when you're driving, you'll see like tarps. You see there'll be cattle there. You see it by dairies a lot of time. There'll be cattle there, and then you'll see like these tarps laying out. And what that is they've got hay underneath it, and they ferment it, and it's silage, and then they feed it to the cattle. And
Is
it
the
stinks.
fermenting on purpose to give
Yeah.
them more probiotics?
Yeah, I think so. I'm not an expert on it, Joe, but I think part of it is it just makes it more palatable, so they can, I think, just consume enough calories.
Ah,
via it.
interesting.
And then I'm sure there's some nutritional aspect to it too. I just don't know the details of it.
That makes sense. That's why it would stink so bad. Because I thought it was just death.
Yeah.
In the time when I was driving to see my folks, I think it was the 90s. Pretty sure it was the 90s. So like I wasn't that hip to that stuff anyway. I just thought it was just a stinky dead
I got you.
area
Sure.
where they raised cows.
Yeah. No, I hear you.
But Christ, it stunk. I couldn't imagine living there. Because the problem with olfactory senses is you only detect changes in smells.
Oh yeah.
So you just get accustomed to your neighborhood stinking,
Yeah.
which is really weird.
It's hilarious you say that because I got so used to the smell of horse shit over when I was outfitting. Like you get so used to it, you don't
Yeah.
even know it's around, man.
Right.
But if you're in a wall tent camp and you're hunting elk for like 7 or 8 days, and it's like half snowing, it's half snow, and then it melts, so it's like muddy. You got all these horses tied up. I mean, horse shit's everywhere, man. It's in every lead rope. It's in everything, and you don't realize, you're out there, feeding the horses in the dark, and then you go into the cook tent. And you start eating, and you don't really, you got horse shit on your hands. You get used to the smell.
Well, horse shit's not a scary shit.
That's not really, yeah.
It's
I
like
hear ya.
it's processed hay.
Yeah,
It's just hay that's biologically, it's sort of gone through the system of the horse. It's not like dog shit.
Dude, it's fun. Isn't that funny? Because all like predator shit is kind of like
Gross.
off-putting.
Yeah, 'cause it's rotten meat.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
You see like lion shit or
Like when you see
bear
deer shit, you pick deer shit up.
Yeah,
it's
no
like
big
little,
deal.
Little balls.
Yeah.
It's nothing.
Yeah, like my little boy, if he picks up an elk turd or whatever, it's like, oh, like Wyatt, that's an elk turd. But man, if he tried to pick up like a bear shit or something, I'd be
Right.
like, ah.
Right. Well, you would also worry about parasites. and
Yeah.
things. Yeah.
Dude, I think that might be. I mean, don't you think that's maybe why we're so prone to not like be a little like off put by it more?
Perhaps, right? The smell. Because it's interesting how animals approach the smell. Like I have a golden retriever, and when I have a fox that lives in my neighborhood, and he comes into my yard. It's pretty cool. I got a video of him barking in my yard. He's such a weird animal. They have such a weird noise.
Sure.
Anyway, shits in my yard, and my dog finds his shit and rolls in it every time. Like for him, it's fucking perfume. So he gets it like all over his neck and stuff.
Yeah.
Like obviously it's not off-putting for him.
Right.
Like I think for him, I don't know what it is that dogs are doing, if they're disguising their smell with
Yeah.
the shit. Like I don't know what they're doing.
They do the same thing with dead stuff.
Yeah. What are
they
they
find
doing?
dead stuff. I have no idea, man. I don't know why that is.
It's weird because they all do it.
When they do it, you notice like they're like gleeful when they do it.
Oh, yeah.
Like
Loving it.
Yeah.
Love it. He
And so
comes
I
in with
don't
just
know-
shit smeared all over his neck. I'm like,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
You know, so obviously it's not off-putting for them, but humans don't roll around in it.
No, yeah,
Not the average.
yeah. That's an enigma, man. You'll have to get an expert on
Yeah.
in that regard.
I don't even know what they would be able to, how they'd figure it
There's
out.
no exact known cause of this.
Oh.
Wolves do it too.
Ooh,
Oh, okay.
interesting.
I think
Huh.
wolves do it to disguise themselves from prey, but that's his best answer I found.
Well, then it makes sense that dogs do it because dogs are just bitch-ass wolves.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, they're trying to get their scent covered or something.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
so if an animal's downwind, it's just like, oh, I smell shit.
Yeah,
It's not like, oh my God, I smell a wolf.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
It would overwhelm the smell.
Yeah.
Well, what do you think about their bringing wolves to Colorado? Do you have an opinion on that?
Yeah, man. I got lots of opinions about it. I mean, so it's gonna happen for sure. You
Yeah.
know. Oh man, we could dive deep into this one,
It's
Joe.
an interesting thing.
Yeah. So
'Cause I feel like, as a person who has spent some time in the woods, not nearly as much as you, but I've spent enough time that I understand what the woods are. I understand what the wild is, and I don't think most people do. I think people have a very goofy idea of what the wild is.
right.
Like animals living in a way that they've lived for thousands of years, and you just happen to be there. And if you weren't there, it would take place exactly as you witness it
Right.
without you being there. It's like you have almost no influence on it. They are wild. They are living in the woods, and wolves are dominant, intelligent, calculating predators
Yeah.
that they eradicated from the West for a reason.
Yeah. Yeah, man. So I think you hit on a bunch of things that would bring me back to my opinion on it, and that's that a lot of this stuff so I know they've basically described two different areas in Colorado where they're going to put the two first sets of transplants, and one of them is right in where you're not. I mean, I rode that country with a horse all over the place, and the circle of where they're going to put those wolves is right there. So I know where they're going to put those. One of the spots. I know the spot intimately. I know the wildlife there intimately.
How many wolves are they going to put in?
So my understanding is off the bat, the first year, and I believe their goal is by December of this year. It's going to be between 15 and 30, I believe, is the first bunch, and they're going to have them in two different spots. But in that Vail corridor, up to the flat tops in there, so they're probably going to put 15 to 20 wolves in there. The thing that you hit on, Joe, that I think kind of forms my opinion is, I mean, these areas, when you go in them, man, they seem so wild, right? The flat tops, I could get on a horse and I could ride for 15 hours and not see a road, 10 hours and not see a road. And they seem so wild, even to me being there, but I don't think that people realize how much humans have already affected that landscape, and how it doesn't matter, this myth that putting wolves back in that landscape is going to turn it back to some ecosystem that was here, 300 years ago. I think it's a figment of their imagination, man. And the reason I say that is because I've also spent a fair amount of time in British Columbia that seemed so much more wild to me. And let me kind of give you context of why that is. Have you ever been to Vail,
Colorado? No.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, I have, but not outside. Not
Okay,
in the
so
wilderness.
if you look at the dynamic of that area, there's a huge highway that goes from Highway 70 that goes from Denver on the Front Range up, past all the ski resorts into Vail, into Eagle, and then it kind of goes down through the canyon, Glenwood Canyon, and kicks back into Aspen. All the winter range there is split by this massive highway, and then that highway has an 8-foot game fence along the whole thing, and then along that Vail Valley where they're wanting to put these, or where they are going to put these wolves, there's 50,000 full-time residents, and there's probably double that in the high season, ski season stuff. Plus, you got these huge ski resorts. I guess what I'm getting at is when somebody tells me that the low-hanging fruit to kind of rewild that areas is wolves, it's just bullshit. You know what I mean? It's
How
not.
is it getting passed though?
Well, it got passed by a ballot initiative. You know, that the ballot initiative is how wolves got to the situation they are now. And basically what the ballot initiative did is it forced the CPW to take on this goal of transplanting the wolves. So it wasn't the CPW's choice. And they there's I don't know the exact laws, Joe, but the CPW, and that's the Colorado Parks and Wildlife, they're in charge of managing the wildlife in Colorado.
How can they put something like the transplanting of wolves, a very complex biological problem? I mean, you're dealing with biology and wildlife. How can they put that as a ballot initiative? Like, how can they put that in the hands of people other than wildlife conservation experts, wildlife biologists?
Well, I mean, the reality is our laws allow that. You know what I mean?
But it
doesn't make rational sense.
No.
You know?
But it's a decision that for people that are just like, yeah, that'd be amazing. Let's put the wolves out there. Like, people are gonna lose their dogs. Like,
sure.
Your dogs are gonna get eaten. Like, it's going to affect anyone who has livestock. You're gonna have a problem. Whether that problem's in 3 years or in 5 years, those problems are coming.
Yeah.
Dogs are 100% gonna get eaten.
Right.
If you have a cute golden retriever like mine, you leave him outside, like, guess what? That dog's dead.
Sure.
They're going to team up on that dog and tear it apart.
Yeah.
And if you're cool with going outside and seeing wolves eat your dog, like, well, then you've made the right choice. But if you're not, like, if you don't think they're going to go after low-hanging fruit, if you don't think they're going to go after easy prey,
sure,
you don't understand wolves. Talk to people that live in Alaska.
Yeah.
Like, anybody who lives in, like, British Columbia, like, they have real fucking wolf problems up there.
Right.
And these are wolf problems that we used to have in the West, but they eradicated them.
Right.
I mean, I don't think it's good to eradicate them. I'm not saying that what they did
Sure.
was right when they poisoned horses and left dead horses filled with strychnine and, and the wolves all died off. But they did it for a fucking reason.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing that's so crazy about, back to the process of how it happened. Everybody who wants wolves in Colorado, and we can get into, the depth they want them, because that's not really clear. They just went through this whole, setting up the plan for the CPW, and it became very clear in my mind through watching that process that they don't really want there to be any, management of wolves in Colorado either. It's going to be
Ever.
No, yeah. So basically,
Well, that's crazy.
Yeah, and so I think, anybody rational is going to be like, look, like, we got to have like a top to the population.
There's no management at all?
Well, so here's the deal: is they have a draft plan, to manage the wolves. What happened is when the CPW did that draft plan, it included some discussion of wolves being lethally managed at all different stages. You know what I mean, Joe? Like, even now, if they, are a real problem with livestock, could they be lethally managed? But down the road, once they had hit certain population objectives, could they be hunted, right? Like, that was discussed. Well, it turns out the ballot initiative basically says that wolves are a non-game species, and that was in the language of the ballot initiative. So they can't really now say, the CPW can't really say that they're going to someday be a hunted species in Colorado. I personally think, and everything's like 2020 hindsight, but even when the ballot initiative originally, was out there, and I always thought it was going to pass by a landslide. That's what's so crazy, because it just barely passed. But I always thought, like, the problem with Colorado is it's different than these other western states, Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, because they're gonna keep the population in line through hunting or other methods. But in Colorado, I don't think the politics are gonna allow that, man. I think it's just gonna be like, who knows what the top is on, how many there is, how much they affect the ungulate population. Who knows, But what I was going to say is what's crazy about this ballot initiative and the bummer part about it is everybody that's going to deal with the negative consequences, they're people that voted no but they're in the areas where the wolves are going to be transplanted. Everybody that voted for it, they don't have to deal with the downside.
They're living in Boulder.
Yeah, dude, and I'm like you, man. They're cool. Like, I've been around them in Canada. They're way cool. But the problem is every person that I've interacted with in British Columbia, or even in the western states that have a fair amount of wolves, every person is just trying to make a living on the landscape. He's a guide, an outfitter, a logger, a cattle rancher, whatever. Like, he's out there living, he or she's out there living with them and dealing with them. They're all just like, when you ask about wolves, they're like, it's just like, you know what I mean? Because they got to deal with the negative consequences all the time.
They're a totally different kind of animal than any other animal because they act as a pack. And they have some sort of intelligent communication.
They're badass, man.
They're amazing.
Yeah.
They're cunning and crafty and they're efficient, ruthless killers.
Yeah.
And they also surplus kill.
Sure.
They find them, like, I think it was Wyoming recently, but they found just like fucking giant pile of elk that they had trapped in high snow and just tore to pieces.
Yeah. And I don't know, like, the stats on how common that is, but other predators do that too.
Yeah, cats do that.
Yeah.
But the difference
bears
between them is that they act as a group.
Yeah.
They're the only one of those predators that acts as a large group.
Yeah. No, and they're effective. I mean, they're effective. I mean, even when you talk to, I know a guy in British Columbia that's, I mean, his whole world is focused on trapping them. And I've sat and talked to him just about, like, the details, of, like, boiling his snares, how he goes in and puts his snares in, how he goes in and checks them, like, all that matters.
Boiling his snares to leave no scent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they just pick up on that stuff, They're just so smart.
And they know that they're being fucked with too.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Which, it's funny because the first thing you said is they're a dog. And I mean, you have dogs. You know how it is. Like, they get it figured out.
Yeah, they know things.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I talk to my dog. Like, he understands certain things.
Right.
I'm like, come on, dude, let's go outside. And he just starts going towards the door.
Yeah.
Like,
he knows
what
what's
that
up.
means.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't have to say it like, want to go outside?
Yeah.
Do you want to go outside? I could just say, hey, come on, man, let's go outside.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh yeah, let's go outside.
Yeah.
Are you hungry? And he's like, fuck yeah, I'm hungry. I'm like, okay, let's eat. Like, he knows what that means.
Yeah,
He knows some aspects of language.
Sure.
And, what he is like a really tame, docile version of a wolf.
Yeah.
A wolf is like have you ever been around a Belgian Malinois?
Yeah, I don't think I'm
Those are
familiar.
the dogs that they use in war. And police dogs. And they're fucking scary little meat missiles.
I got you.
And they look at you like this.
Yeah.
They're always thinking. And you can't just keep one of those motherfuckers in your yard. They're too smart. They're working dogs. First of all, they climb fences like a chimpanzee. They just go right up the fence and over it. I mean, have you ever seen, like, videos of Belgian Malinois working?
I don't think I have, Joe.
Dude,
but I'm trying to put...
it's wild.
Okay.
They can do shit where they leap through the air. Like, you can't fucking believe they really can jump that high.
Right.
Like, soaring through the air. I'm talking like 12 feet in the air.
Sure.
They run, jump off a guy's back, and then leap through the air. Like, climb over walls that are like 10 feet tall just by running up the wall.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Pretty wild.
That's a wolf. It's the same thing. Like, here's this is a Belgian
Oh,
Malinois.
I've
Watch
seen
this.
it, man.
Look at this. I mean, that's insane.
It is nuts.
How's that dog doing that? Look at him running up the fucking wall. I mean, he's basically a monkey.
Got it figured out.
Look, he's running up a fucking tree to get to a mitt, and then he's hanging on it. It's crazy.
Man, the diversity amongst dogs is wild.
It is wild. But these dogs in particular are bred, and look how smart they are. Look, you can walk across a tightrope. Look at that. Isn't that insane? I mean, that's fucking insane.
Dude,
they're so intelligent, but that's closer to a wolf.
Yeah.
Way closer to look. Look at his ears. I mean, they're basically an athlete wolf.
Yeah.
You know?
Have you ever seen these Great Pyrenees dogs that they run with the sheep?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're cool in a much different way.
Yeah.
But they basically think they're sheep.
Yeah.
You know.
Pull up Great Pyrenees dogs. Yeah, they're interesting. It's so wild that they all came from wolves, and that you have so
Yeah.
many different styles of like the way they look.
Dude, these dogs. So there's big domestic sheep permits where I used to outfit. So guys running, big bands of sheep periodically in the wilderness areas, and they keep these dogs with them. And these dogs are something else to run into, in the night up in the mountains or whatever. And they're just, they just protect those sheep. Just, you see these big bands of sheep like this. And
And do they keep wolves off of them?
Yeah. So I've heard mixed things, and this will be interesting because right where they're going to put some of these wolves in Colorado, there's some pretty big domestic sheep guys that run these Pyrenees dogs.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And they actually, so sheep in the wilderness are one of the few animals that are still guarded by humans. They usually have a herder with them.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are guys from, nowadays it seems to be that most of them are from Peru, I believe. And I used to run into the guys because they've been out there living with these sheep, man, for like weeks at a time. So even though there's a language barrier, like when they see you up there, like they want to hang out, say hi or whatever.
Just happy to see people.
Yeah, they'll have a horse with them. Maybe, I don't know, probably 500-600 sheep, and they'll have a couple of those dogs.
Wow.
But back to your original question is I've heard mixed things about these dogs' ability to deal with wolves, and it has to do with the fact that there's more than, there's a group of wolves. So if they can draw one of these dogs off, wolves can kill them. I know, I've heard, and I'm not an expert at it, but I know that some people in wolf country, what they'll do is on the Great Pyrenees, they'll put spike collars on them, so the wolves can't get a hold of them. Because these dogs are big, like they're a lot bigger than most wolves.
How big are these dogs?
These Great Pyrenees dogs.
What do they weigh about?
Dude, I'm thinking. Jamie might have to look this up, but I think they're mid
160.
150, 160. That's what I was thinking. I mean, that's a big dog.
Yeah.
But I don't know how well they'll do with the wolves. And there's stories of wolves getting into these domestic sheep and killing like 100.
Yeah. Fuck.
Yeah, I don't know how that's all gonna work.
It's not going to work well.
No.
I mean, this idea that it's always good when you reintroduce predators, like, says who? Like,
Yeah.
the balance right now is pretty goddamn good. Like, I don't know what they're thinking. They just have this idea that wolves are amazing. Well, guess what? Wolves are eventually making their way into Colorado anyway.
Right.
I mean, it's a natural thing that's happening.
Yeah.
And at least the way it's happening, it'll probably be more sustainable than just dropping off a patch of them in an area that has domestic animals.
Right. Man, Joe, I don't know why I do understand why there's an obsession with them. They're beautiful and they're cool.
Oh, yeah.
But I almost feel like, are you familiar with I believe the name of the YouTube video is Why Wolves Change Rivers?
Yeah, I've
something
seen
like
it.
Yeah.
But that guy, do you know the guy
Yeah.
who made that? He's a fan of wilding, and he wants to
Yeah.
bring, like, lions to the UK.
Yeah.
He's fucking insane.
Yeah, he'll like there's no limit to this logic of this like trophic cascade idea.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, what's crazy to me, man, is like, so if you watch that video, and it's got like 50 million views on YouTube or something like that. It's narrated by a guy that's, it's really well done.
Yes.
And it's just cool to watch. But you watch it, if you listen to the first 90 seconds, there's like and the reason I bring this video up is because I actually think that this video was the start of what happened in Colorado. Was a lot of people watch this and they're like, yeah, it makes sense. You get this predator in here. It fixes all the problems, with the range.
Balances things out.
Yeah, it brings
Yeah.
everything back. But in that video, man, in the first 90 seconds, there's a bald-faced lie. They say, I don't know what it is.
You want to play it? Should we play it?
Yeah, let's play it, and I can.
How wolves change rivers.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the guy behind it is very controversial. I think it's interesting. I think it's interesting that he has such a passion towards these animals, but this guy legitimately thinks that wilding and rewilding is the way to go for everything. Let's play it.
Right.
Woo! That's how they get you. The beautiful sound of the
and
night.
plus the guy's accent, you'll see, man,
Yeah.
it draws you in. They're cool.
They're fucking cool. Beautiful.
One of the most exciting scientific findings of the past half century has been the discovery of widespread trophic cascades. A trophic cascade is an ecological process which starts at the top of the food chain and tumbles all the way down to the bottom. And the classic example is what happened in the Yellowstone National Park in the United States when wolves were reintroduced in 1995. Now, we all know that wolves kill various species of animals, but perhaps we're slightly less aware that they give life to many others. Before the wolves turned up, they'd been absent for 70 years. But the numbers of deer, because there was nothing to hunt them, had built up in the Yellowstone Park, and despite efforts by humans to control them, they'd managed to reduce much.
So that's the lie right there. Despite efforts to be controlled by humans in Yellowstone, that is just factually incorrect, Joe.
Yeah, it's not true at all.
No, it's not true at all in Yellowstone. So the history of Yellowstone actually, until like the 60s, there's two things going on in the park when they had excess elk, which makes sense, because what people don't realize, I mean, they were killing predators before the 60s in Yellowstone. Like, they were suppressing lions in addition to the fact that they had already killed the wolves, So there was predator suppression going on even in the park before the 60s. Well, in the 60s, in the late 50s and 60s, and I might be roughly off on these dates, but the park was actually capturing elk, and they were transporting them to all the other states that needed elk. Cause
I think that's where they got him in California for Tejon Ranch. They got him from Yellowstone.
Yeah, that might be, man, because all the big transplants in Colorado, Idaho, outside of the park, they were Yellowstone genetics. And I actually I know that some of the elk that ended up down on the Indian reservations and stuff, they were originally Yellowstone.
Can I ask you about that before we move on? I was hunting with this guy in Utah, and he was telling me there's literally two different kinds of elk, and the reason why these elk, like in the Gila Mountain Range and the elk in Tejon Ranch, and they're so big, is because these are Yellowstone elk, and that the Yellowstone elk have wider bases, more mass. They're larger animals. He was like, it's like you have a Roosevelt elk, you have a Thule elk, you have a Rocky Mountain elk. He's like, you have a Yellowstone elk. He's like, it's a different elk.
Yeah, so I don't know specifically related to Yellowstone elk, but I actually do know some people who had original Yellowstone. They had original Yellowstone genetic elk on their place, and then it's a big high fence place owned by the natives in New Mexico, and they actually started to bring in genetics out of Alberta, and those elk out of Alberta are way bigger than the Yellowstone elk.
That's interesting.
So what you're saying, I imagine, is true, Joe. I just don't know exactly, but what I have seen is there's huge difference. Man, like, I saw a cow on this particular place I'm talking about, and it was bigger than any bull I had ever had a client kill in the flat.
What?
Is that, like, when we were like, it was the cow popped up in the brush there, probably like 500 yards from us, and I hadn't picked up my binoculars yet. There's no way you could have convinced me that was a cow, because it was probably like a 750-pound cow.
What?
Yeah. So they're
I've never even heard of such a thing.
Oh yeah, they're physically way bigger.
But is that normal for? I mean, you're saying this is the Alberta
these
genes?
were Alberta genetics. Yeah.
So is that thing? What is that? There's a thing that happens with animals when they're in cold climates, where mammals grow larger.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah, it's
like
the
same thing between like southern BC moose and Yukon moose. The Yukon moose are way bigger.
Yeah. And it's also deer, right?
Yeah.
Like, you have Coues deer that are little tiny suckers, and then you get all the way to Saskatchewan, they're 350-pound whitetails.
Yeah, sure. Or,
Yeah.
even
Bergman's rule?
Is that it?
That's what it says. It's named after. It's a rural
I think that's it.
biology established concept called Bergman's rule states creatures
Yes.
of rural
Yeah.
climates tend to be larger.
To conserve heat. The rule's named after Carl Bergman, a 19th century biologist who first described the pattern in 1847. Yeah, it totally makes sense. Like Texas deer are
Yeah.
so tiny.
Oh, yeah.
It's really interesting.
Yeah, like if you compared like a South Texas whitetail to like an Alberta whitetail.
Or an Idaho whitetail.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
They're,
it's
they're
way
fucking
different.
giant up there.
Yeah.
Or Iowa.
Yeah, and it's not all feed related. Part of it
Right.
is obviously
Bergman's
this.
law.
Yeah, this law that
That
you're
makes
talking
sense.
about.
So I've never even heard of a cow elk being that big.
Oh yeah, man. There's for sure a regional. I mean, part of that's probably like genetics, or like selective breeding of elk too over time, which that does exist. There's an industry that does that, so that might be part of it too.
It could be that these animal too, like much like what we're talking about with California with Tejon Ranch, you have these animals that are used to living in Montana, say with the California, the Tejon Ranch, and then all of a sudden they're living in, the Tehachapi Mountains, and they have no winter to speak of,
Right.
where they're deprived of food. They have food
Sure.
all year round now, and so they have this body that's designed to consume as much food as possible because winter's coming,
Right.
and then winter never comes.
Yeah.
So they just get giant.
Yeah, and that would make sense too. I mean, elk are funny, Joe, and I'm sure you've heard the stories. Like you hear people talking about killing wild elk, like, oh, I killed a bull. He had to weigh like 900 pounds. Like, dude, I've quartered up a ton of bulls in my life, and a big wild bull is, 650 pounds, 700 pounds, be a big one, They don't get as big as a lot of people say, you know what I mean?
But if you go to Tejon Ranch,
Yeah, they
do.
probably are. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
probably right.
No, I've seen 1,100, 1,200 pound elk there.
Yeah, so that's 60% bigger than the
Yeah.
bulls that I was exposed to in Colorado. you
Yeah,
know?
they're extraordinarily large. There.
Yeah. Yep.
But then you see a moose, and you're like, oh my God.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I mean, first time I saw a moose live on the hoof walking around was in BC.
Yeah.
And it was like that scene in Jurassic Park. We pulled over the truck. We were driving down the road, and we pulled over a truck, and I stuck my head out the window like, what the fuck? It was so big.
Isn't it goofy? Because they're like that whole depiction of them in cartoons, like Bullwinkle. It kind of fits them.
Yeah.
They're just like.
They're but fucking dangerous.
Oh yeah.
The thing about them that scares me more than any other, they'll come for you. They'll go
yeah.
after you.
Yeah.
Whereas like no other deer species like goes, oh, you want to start some shit?
Yeah.
And they'll come
Yeah.
over and stomp you.
Yeah, dude, I remember, it's funny, like when you're riding in the mountains with, you're riding a horse and maybe you've got like 3 or 4 mules with you, a lot of times you'll pick up off of them that they scent something before you see it. Because they smell something. And usually they'll start like puffing their nostrils. And a lot of times it would be moose. They start, I can hear them huffing. Those mules and horses, what they're trying to do is they're trying to get more scent in, so they can be like, they know exactly what it is.
Right.
And a lot of times, like as you're going around a switchback or something, you can hear them huffing, and sure enough, you come around the corner and there'll just be like a bull moose standing there in the trail, doesn't give a shit. He
You're
like, I mean,
what do you want to do?
yeah, like you seem like you'd seem like you'd be kind of like a big,
Intimidating mass
yeah,
of
intimidating,
people and
exactly.
animals and-
Yeah, you got and they just like look at you like you're gonna have to go around, So several moose, like I've literally like drug a string of mules like up the hill, like through the aspens and crashing through a bunch of crap just so the moose can stand there on the trail.
I've never seen
cool.
a Yukon moose on the hoof. I would love to.
I haven't either, but you see these guys that kill them, and holy smokes, man!
I've watched some of those Jim Shockey videos.
Oh yeah.
Where he goes up there and they have antlers that are the size of this table.
Yeah, you just see them when they glass them up and the paddles on them are like.
It's insane. They're so big. It's hard to believe that they're that much bigger, but I guess that's that Bergman's rule.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I mean,
Yep.
because it's cold as fuck up there.
Yeah, and just genetics and everything else. But moose, like Colorado's starting to get some huge moose, man.
Are they Cyrus moose?
Yeah, they're shires, but I mean, a 50-inch moose is not uncommon.
Really? Oh, wow.
Yeah, in the areas that I was guiding and outfitting in, and it was cool, Joe, because early on when I started, we rarely saw a moose, man. Like almost never. Like if you saw a cow moose, that was like major day, By the time you know, 10 years later, we always saw moose and big ones, you know.
Do you know Adam Greentree?
I don't know him personally. I know of him.
Adam filmed a grizzly bear in the San Juans.
Yeah, which is possible, man. Do you know the history of the last grizzly bear that they saw in there?
No.
Oh man, I don't want to get the dates and stuff messed up, but it was weird. It's just to tie on to your story. They said they were extinct. They weren't around, and then a bow hunter went in there. I want to say like 15 years after they said they were extinct, and he went in there and he got mauled by one, and he came out and he's like, "Look, I just killed a grizzly bear. I'm telling you I did." And they said, "No way you didn't." And they went back in there with him, and sure enough, he had. You'd have to look up the exact story because I'm sure I kind of butchered it.
Here it is. In 1979, Ed Wiseman, a Colorado hunting guide, crossed paths with a grizzly bear during an expedition near the headwaters of the Navajo River. Wiseman was attacked and mauled. What happened? But while he was down, he managed to the fuck is this like? What is up with this website?
It's loading a picture and it's changing.
Oh, I see.
Oh,
It's just a shitty website.
It's right here.
But while he was down, he managed to fatally wound the bear by hand using an arrow.
Wild.
A fucking arrow.
But look, man. So they said they'd been extinct for like 20 or 30 years already. And
How the fuck do they know? Here's the thing. Like, that kind of talk is so wild. Like, oh,
Yeah.
so are you out there with cameras in every fucking acre of that
Yeah.
land? Shut up. You don't know. Like, you
Yeah.
should really take the word of the people that find these things out there,
Sure.
because those people are actually there.
Right.
Like, how deep do the biologists go? I mean, how often are they there? How many boots on the ground wildlife surveyors do you have that are
Right.
telling you exactly what, how many bears there are?
Yeah.
How could you know?
Yeah, who knows? And
So cocky.
and like on Adam's deal in the San Juans, I don't know.
He filmed it.
Yeah, I've seen the videos, and personally, I don't know that I could say 100% either way, but I do know that people for sure who have seen them in northern Colorado, like across the border, or seen tracks, something like
Of
that. on the border,
course.
you know.
I mean, the neighboring
they move
states have. They're next to Wyoming.
Yeah.
Wyoming has
They
them.
move. Yeah, they move.
The
around.
idea that a grizzly's not going to move from Wyoming to Colorado,
yeah.
he knows this is not his turf.
Yeah. Well, dude, the thing about them is people don't understand, they can roam. There's something that gets in, bears' heads where they will, well, not just bears,
Cats.
Cats, a little bighorn ram who he's just tired of getting the shit beat out of him from this band of rams he's been hanging out. All of a sudden, he just starts moving, man. He's just going to go find like a new place to live, and they'll travel like crazy distances. There's a cool bear study, and man, I wish I knew the gal's name that did it, where they collared a bunch of bears, and it was done, I believe, in New Mexico, and it's crazy to see how far these bears will move. Like they'll go to where they're denning, and they'll travel, I want to say like 200-300 miles, hit up an elk calving ground, and then they'll go another 100 miles, for somewhere else that they like to hang out in the fall to hit, acorns or something. So this bear's doing an insane trip.
Wow.
It's wild. So yeah, it's for sure possible.
Of course. And it's
Yeah.
likely. It means,
Yeah.
I mean, I trust Adam. He's so
Yeah, he knows.
knowledgeable.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah.
Like, he wouldn't say, he would just say, "Oh my God, look at that black bear."
Yeah.
He would say it was a giant black bear.
Sure.
But he's like,
Yeah.
that's a fucking grizzly bear.
Yeah.
He was filming it through his,
And he's got he's got his gun out and the whole deal, right?
oh, that's a different one. That's a
okay,
different one.
okay.
This is one that he filmed. Okay, so look at the size of that. Look at it, what it looks like.
Sure.
So this is, I believe he's got film footage. No, it's okay. So that is just, but just even those photos, that looks exactly like a brown bear. I mean, that doesn't look like a black bear to me.
Yeah, they get that blonde. They get
Yeah.
that blonde kind of shine to them.
Yeah, that looks like a fucking brown bear, man. I mean, it
Yeah.
could be. Look, it could be a massive color-faced bear.
Right.
Right. It could be.
Yeah.
But the odds are not that good.
Yeah, when they get that I can't remember the term that people use for it, but they get that golden kind of like blondness at the end of the hair. And I've seen it. We used to have a bunch of black bears in my area that have like mohawks. You ever seen like red mohawk?
Yeah,
That's the one?
Okay, this is 100% a grizzly bear, but I believe this was in Idaho. Was that where it was, or Montana?
He started in Colorado. He's now in Montana.
That was because he was hunting for 28 days straight solo. But he actually drove to Montana, and then he had an encounter with a female. By the way, he lives in Australia, where pistols are, you can't even get a fucking pistol.
Okay.
So someone gave him a pistol to borrow while he was out there. What he didn't know is that the rounds were the wrong round for the pistol he had. So his gun was not going to work. So here he is pointing this gun at this grizzly bear. And if you see the video, it's fucking crazy. The bear runs up on him. Here it is.
He's got a chance.
Let's give it some volume.
I hope you don't mind me lighting either,
So I drew my handgun. It's something that you carry, especially when you're by yourself.
How about a handgun that works, bitch? You live in a shitty country.
Pistol.
They don't teach you about guns over there.
She turned off at about 20 yards, so it was just like a bluff charge. I stayed dead still, just with the pistol drawn, pointed at her. She ran
look at his gun.
to the tree, got back.
Oh yeah.
You see it? Like it's already. It's like it's jammed. Look how the front is sticking out.
Like the slide.
Yeah. So look at the slide, like the entrance on the right hand side. That gun is not doing jack shit.
Yeah.
Which is really funny because he doesn't even know.
He had false hope.
He's a bow hunter.
That is kind of funny.
It's funny that he's pointing a magic wand at a grizzly bear.
Yeah.
Be gone.
Well, the thing is, man, is like it's not like, I mean, I've been around grizzlies a fair amount. I've never had like a threatening type of interaction with them, but I've actually had like a few little things with black bears, and every time I guided a black bear hunt, Joe, and like I walked up to a black bear, with a hunter, it's not like they're not scary. You look at their claws and you're like, well, man, dude, it's like,
oh, they're fucking scary.
It slaps you.
But isn't it also true that more black bears attack people to try to eat them than grizzlies? I think that's like when black bears attack you in general, it's like a predatory thing.
Right. And there's
whereas
like these,
grizzlies get surprised.
And there's these scary black bear encounters or black bear things you hear about where the bears are habituated to like campgrounds and stuff, and they attack people in their tents. And and I don't know that. And
That is scary.
I was listening to it. Somebody talked about it recently. I can't remember who it was, but there's something about when you get attacked in a tent, and they think that in general, if it's grizzly or black bear, that is more of like a predatory, I'm gonna eat you type of thing.
Yes.
Maybe because it's at night. You know what I mean? Like they do some of their hunting at night. I'm sure.
I think it's like a burrito.
Yeah. They're like gonna tear it open.
Yeah.
And
It's a wrap.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's like, how is this stupid animal stuck inside this cloth bag?
Yeah.
Perfect for me to just tear through and eat it.
Yeah.
Because for them, the smell must be amazing. It must be like bacon in, like with an open window. Like,
That's what a camper smells like to
they
them?
smell like bacon. They probably smell fantastic.
Yeah. I do know that it seems to me that most of the attacks from black bears have been bears that are habituated. You know what I mean?
That makes sense.
They're used to people.
One of the ones there was a Montana, a woman who was mauled, who was killed in her tent. She was on a bike trip and she was making her way, and she had actually chased this bear off earlier. And then she decided, well, he's gone. And she went to bed, and he's like, no, I'm not.
Showed back up. Yeah.
And then he came and ate her.
Yeah, it's scary.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had them. They have you ever been around black bears when they kind of, we call it jacking their jaws, but they jack their jaws. It's kind of, you know exactly, even if you never heard it before, if you hear it, you know exactly what they mean.
Yeah.
They mean like you need to get out of here.
What's weird is their sound. Like they sound like a monkey. They sound like an ape.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
when they do that, it's like, wow, that's weird.
Yeah. Dude, I gotta tell you.
They do that?
Yeah.
Very strange.
It's wild. It's funny because they also make, I mean, a sow will talk to their cubs quite a bit too. Have you ever heard that? It's kind of like I don't know what this. It's almost like a little mewing sound. I call it a mew, like an elk mew, but it's kind of that same tonal structure, but it sounds a little bit different. And I hadn't heard it before, but I'll tell you this story real quick, Joe. It's kind of a wild deal. I was guiding a hunter, and we were watching these bears, and they were in oak brush. They were basically stripping acorns off this oak brush. And a lot of times what these black bears will do, the sows will kick their cubs up in the oak. Like this oak brush could be as high as this room, man, And what'll happen is they'll kick their cubs up in the oak brush. And when you're glassing the oak brush, you'll be looking in the oak brush and you'll just see the little furry cub, and he'll be just hanging in the tree, And then you don't see the sow because the canopy of the oak brush is covering her, But so a lot of times when I was guiding bear hunters, I always would look for that, because you can't, obviously just from nobody wants to kill the mom of 2 little baby cubs, but it's also illegal to do that, So you're always looking. You don't want to make a mistake. Right. So I would always be glassing the oak brush for cubs. And so we were watching this hillside, and I saw a couple cubs, and then I could see their mom kind of cruising underneath them. Every once in a while she'd pop out. And then so we were kind of paying attention. They're cool to watch. We were watching them. And then a boar black bear came up the hill right in front of us. There's probably like 200-yard difference or something. And we watched him, and the hunter wanted to shoot him, but we didn't have a clear shot. So we just kind of kept watching them. And the bears kind of started mingling together. And it was getting maybe the last like 30, 40 minutes of light. And finally this bear got out. And I actually remember because he got a hold of like something that had been dead forever. And it was in the ground, like an old winter kill or something, this boar black bear. And he was just trying to tear it up, And he's digging on it. But that gave the hunter the shot. And so he shot the bear, and I saw the bear start rolling down this canyon. And so I was like, all right, you're good to go. He goes down and he lands on a tree. Off to his left a little bit, just kind of came down the topography of the mountain. I'm like, you're good, but we should get over there while we got light just to maneuver around the canyon. So I get over there, and we get above the bear, and it's pretty steep, and I'm looking down, and I see him against the tree, and then I hear a cub up in the tree, up in the canopy, and I'm like, what is going on? I know for a fact that that's not,
a sow.
Yeah, right. I know that's not a sow. But it made my heart bump, oh shit, did we make some sort of horrible mistake? So I trot down there, and I remember grabbing this bear's back leg, and I pick his leg up, and I see his balls, and I'm like, fuck yeah. You know what I mean? Because you don't want to make that. Right, I'd feel shitty, I'd feel horrible. So I'm like, dude, okay, that cub that's up in those trees is not, this isn't the mom. So good deal. But I'm thinking to myself, where's this cub? So I look, Joe, in the same tree that this bear rolled down into, that cub was in it. He was in the same tree that the
just
bear,
randomly.
Yeah, randomly, man.
So the sow was around there somewhere.
Yeah, dude. So that's the problem. Immediately when I realize this, I start hearing that just jaws.
Oh yeah. So she's nearby,
and she's really vocal, and she's trying to call to the cub. You know what I mean?
So what do you do? Do you back out?
So I'm thinking, we have to, right?
Yeah.
So we got to just back up. So we back up the hill, and we just watch. It's well, this is the deal. And it was crazy, Joe. Literally, it's felt like forever, but it couldn't have been more than 30 or 40 minutes because it's getting dark. But this cub would come down. He'd come down the tree. I'd watch him, get down halfway, and then he'd look down. He'd see the boar, and then he'd go back up. I was like, oh, this is gonna last forever. And finally, man, I wish I had the foresight to video it, but he just kept working down as his mom was calling to him. And then right at the end before he came out, he was maybe 3 feet above the dead bear at the base of the tree. And he jumped out of the tree, and he landed on the dead boar bear, and he kind of just looked around, and then he ran off to his mom. Oh, awesome.
That's awesome.
But those kind of situations, man, anytime I got between, near cubs or where the sow didn't have visual to the cubs, that would freak me out regardless if it was grizz or black bear,
Yeah, mama bears don't fuck around.
Yeah,
that's why.
Yeah.
They call mama humans mama bears.
Yeah, dude. Well, it could be like an 80-pound black bear
Yeah.
sow, and you're still like, man, dude, you don't want any of that, you know?
No, yeah. My God, an 80-pound dog
Oh, they
coming after
tear
you.
you up.
Imagine
Yeah,
that?
yeah, yeah.
And that's way scarier than a dog. It's so funny because like black bears we think of as being sort of innocuous. Like, what are you talking about? There's a 300-pound wild predator.
Yeah.
They're
Well,
hu-
dude, and you pick up their paws, and it's like, yeah, you get slapped with it. It's gonna be
Oh,
bad.
yeah.
you
Yeah,
know?
it's not good. You're not
Yeah,
doing
yeah.
well.
Yeah. Do you still hunt them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't in years, but I used to go up to with my friends John and Jen up in Alberta.
Oh, okay, sure.
Cam goes up there every year.
Yeah.
Cam Haynes. It's they have a very bear-rich environment up there.
Oh, yeah.
By the way, up there you get wolf tags over the counter.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how much of a wolf problem they have there.
Yeah.
You go to the gas station to buy a bear tag, you pick up a wolf tag. I think it's
Yeah.
like $40.
Sure.
You know.
Yeah, and you probably haven't met a whole bunch of Canadians up there that are huge wolf fans.
None.
Yeah.
They don't like them at all.
I know.
It's
man.
so interesting. Right? Go to Boulder and talk to people about
Yeah.
wolves. Like, wolves are amazing. That's my spirit animal.
Yeah. Well, dude, it's just the difference between like people who have to deal with the negative consequences. And I'm like you, man. Like I don't want them to be like
I love them.
I don't want them to be eradicated off the earth. But I do realize that like they have negative consequences for some folks. And you have to look at it, man. It's like, well, everybody, you got all these people who have to deal with the problems. They don't. Other people are voting in for them to basically have to deal with them
Exactly.
day to day. So,
Exactly. It's like someone saying defund the police in a city they don't live in.
Yeah, exactly, man.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, defund the police. Yeah.
And it's like I don't know why people get value out of that. It's an enigma to me, man.
Well,
But-
the beautiful thing about this country is that everyone can vote. The horrible thing about this country is that everyone can vote.
Yeah, that's right, dude. Exactly.
Part of the same thing, but it's a fellow like you. You understand what you understand the ecosystem. You understand these animals, and you spent so much time with them. It's like those are the people that really should be making that assessment. It's like if you want to vote on certain things and you do not have an understanding of that thing that you're voting on, you really shouldn't vote on it. It's like,
Right.
it's like you can't, if you don't have an educated perspective on it, then this is crazy.
Right.
You're just allowing people to just guess whether or not it'd be good to bring back wolves. And of course, these pro-animal rights groups that want these animals, and look, they love these fucking animals, and I get it, and it's not that they're bad people. It's just they're also misguided because people who love these animals aren't hunting them. They're not out there. You're not entrenched in the day-to-day existence of what it means to be a wild animal, what
Right.
it means to be a predator and a prey, what it means to be an ungulate, what it means to be a cat. If you never locked eyes to eyes with a mountain lion in the wild, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Right.
You're just these are all these like weird things that you're picking up off of Instagram videos.
Sure.
Like you have your virtue signaling.
Yeah. Well, and I caught your episode you did with is Derek Wolf, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that lion was huge, man.
Fucking huge.
Dude, what'd they say it weighed?
170 plus pounds dressed.
If it weren't for the fact that I don't know the guide he was with. I don't know him personally, but we're acquainted. He worked in a different part of Colorado, and he has a very good reputation. If it weren't for the fact that I knew that he was with him, I would say that's bullshit, because I never heard of a lion being 180 pounds.
Yeah, his buddy Alex, was
Yeah.
his guide.
I'm
yeah.
sorry. What did I say?
You didn't say
Oh,
name.
oh, okay. Yeah, I'm sorry.
You just said a guide. He was
yeah,
here too.
but-
He was
but-
hanging out with him when he was in
Okay,
town.
you met him. Yeah, he's very well respected. I some of my guides worked for him and stuff.
He's
And-
on the cover of Bow Hunting Magazine now. Pull up the photo. It's Derek Wolf's Instagram.
But
He's such a fucking good guy.
But 180-pound lion, man, like that's
Woo!
huge. You know?
Yeah, well, he said it was 200 pounds. He said, like, if you take away the guts and the blood.
Oh, that's right. That's
yeah.
what he said. So they
So it's
weighed it.
170
Yeah.
plus. Look at this. Now, if you don't know how big Derek is, when you're in front of Derek's a goddamn
Yeah,
Viking.
yeah.
He's a Viking. I
Yeah.
mean, it's like 100% Viking genes. He's
Yeah.
enormous.
Big guy. Yeah.
Enormous, not
Yeah.
big. So if you put me holding up that cat, it would be fucking crazy.
Yeah,
The
sure.
cat's bigger than me, for
Yeah.
sure. It basically weighed what I weigh. I weigh 200 pounds. So imagine a fucking mountain lion that's 200 pounds. I saw one in Utah, a big one under a tree, but it was, I guessed, like, someone's like, how big? I was like, it looked like a 170-pound cat.
Yeah.
Like, fucking huge.
Yeah.
It was really big. It was me and my friend Colton. We were driving, and as we were driving, he stopped. It was like at dusk.
Yeah.
He stops the truck. He goes, "Look under that tree. It's a fucking cat." And I look, and I catch the eyes glowing from the low light.
Sure.
You see the light. And then I put my binos on him, so I'm inside. We're 30 yards away from this cat. I put the bino on him. I just see this big pumpkin head and these fucking demon cat eyes. I'm like, oh my God, he's so big. His forearms were just jacked.
Yeah.
They were
Dude,
so big.
It's funny you say the forearm thing. I've skinned a ton of lions, and every time I skin one, Joe, when you look at their forearm on a lion, it's not like any other.
It's like an arm wrestler.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy. Like, you know how a deer or an elk, if you just go with your knife and you just get through the hide, like circle the joint, maybe you nick the tendons a little bit. A guy, most guys, if they hit it right, they can just snap it, right?
Mm-hmm.
No way with a lion, man. No way. Because they're like the tendons and just the structure right here is just totally different. Game.
Do you know that one lion that was living in California in the Hollywood Hills? Have you ever seen that photo?
Mm-hmm.
We have that photo.
Yeah, see the forearm, man?
Yeah, that's exactly right. We have that photo, that exact photo. We have a giant version of it outside in the studio.
Yeah, dude,
Look at the collar on it. Like, it's so crazy.
That's an awesome photo, but it shows that forearm thing, dude. So
massive.
And they have a dew claw. They got a dew claw down low, like a floating dew claw.
Just something to grab onto when they're wrestling.
Well, you know what they do with it? Because I've seen them swatting at dogs with it. And what they want to do, because I used to watch them, and I'm like, what are they doing? And so what I realized is that they're trying to hook. Like, they want to reach out and hook the dog with that and bring the dog to their mouth. Because they want the dog in their mouth, That's how they get a hold of, they what I noticed about them, just my observation, so I might be talking out of my ass a little bit, but it sure seems like if they can do it, they want to hold stuff with their mouth, and they're using their hands to bring it, to bring it to their mouth.
Picture to me, can you put that picture up again? That picture to me, I love that picture, and one of the reasons why, first of all, it looks like it's staged, but it's just a camera trap.
That's way cool.
And the fact that it's wearing a collar, and the fact that it's with the Hollywood sign in the background.
Yeah.
So this thing is in the middle of an incredibly dense, heavily populated area, and it's just murdering dogs.
Oh yeah.
Murdering dogs. I mean, you know how many dogs go missing in that area? A fuckload.
Yeah.
There's no deer. You can't find a goddamn deer up there. Good luck.
Sure.
You very rarely see deer in the Hollywood Hills, and that's why. Because you have a monster. You have a 150-pound monster just cruising around with Jack Popeye forearms.
Yeah. Dude, their lions are crazy, man. The craziest thing about them to me is that if you're not actively hunting them, you don't realize how many are around. Like, in all my years of guiding, man, I think I've glassed up like maybe 3 or 4, and then all my other experience with them is hunting them. But dude, I can only imagine like the dozens and dozens that have just been sitting up on a rock or something as I cruise by, and I never knew about it.
They're stealthy.
Yeah.
I saw one in Montecito in Santa Barbara. I was driving. Oh, that one on someone's lawn or someone's fucking
Los
porch.
Feliz.
That's in Los Feliz?
Yeah.
Oh my God, really?
I think it was that one. I'm not sure.
Well, that cat was sick by the end of its life. They think it
getting
had
old.
gotten hit by a car, and I think they euthanized it. That looks terrible.
It looks smaller than that.
It does look, but it might be
Oh,
starving.
yeah. Not the same day.
I think P22 or whatever it was. Yeah, it's P22s they call him. I think when he died, he was very ill. I think they wound up euthanizing him. I'm pretty sure he got hit by a car. Something happened that really fucked him up and kept him from being able to hunt, which is probably why he's sitting on people's porches, just hoping they have a poodle he can eat.
Figure out something easy,
Yeah.
dude. They're cool, man. I've personally killed a couple of them. I don't. It's funny, Joe. Like, I love hunting them, man. Like, they're really fun to hunt. I don't have the urge to ever kill another one, but I would love to go with continue to go.
What did they
go with
taste
people.
like? Derek said they tasted delicious.
Yeah, dude, they're good. They're like lean pork, and they look like lean pork. That's how I would describe it. I bet you if I fed it to you, you'd think like this is like lean pork that maybe is like tastes like a little overcooked or something.
Ranella said it's better than pork. He said
He likes it.
Yeah, he sent me a photo of some stuff that he cooked. I said, how was it? He goes, it was superb.
Yeah.
That's what he said.
Yeah.
I said,
You know,
really? He goes, it was amazing.
The meat, man, is it's I'll show it to you because it looks like it looks like pork too, man.
No, I've definitely seen it online. I never had a chance to try it though in person. I gotta take a leak, man.
Yeah, go for it.
Let's pause for a bit. We'll come back. This is new. Hydrated Joe has a real problem. I used to be able to go 3 hours.
We had it a half an hour longer than the other days.
The other day, yeah, the other day was bad, but I've been really amping up my hydration.
Yeah.
I got blood work. I found out I was dehydrated, and now I've
Oh,
been just
I
like drinking
gotcha.
water all day. But it's a fucking problem. Like before I go on stage, I have to make sure I pee before I go on stage.
Oh,
Because I'm on
okay.
stage for an hour. Like
Sure.
I can't have to piss while I'm doing stand-up.
Yeah, no, I
All right, let's
gotcha.
pause for a bit. Let's talk about it. So while we were peeing, Jamie was Googling the new Chat GPT, which just got released. Is it 4.0? Is that what it is?
Yeah, I guess, yeah, because they were on 3.5 would be the highest I think it was.
And is everybody freaking out? Is it scary?
Well, they're showing, and I can't, I mean, let me see if I can skip ahead to something. They're literally right now they're doing the demonstration of it live for everybody to see. They've just showed some of the, I'll show you the test scores. On their website, right after they announced this afternoon, they showed some exam scores they put it up against like GPT 3.5. Down here, it's like passing AP Calculus, which I guess the blue would have been GPT-3. Green is the new one. Some of the ones that it passed, I think those were not as good, but it did pass like the bar exam, I believe, at a very high rate. It's translating stuff into different languages now at a very high rate. Thing I thought was crazy is it understands memes. So it can read this picture. It's breaking down that it's in 3 panels. It tells you what's in each panel and then what the humor is about that.
Wow.
And there's
Dude,
different
that's
examples
scary.
of that. I don't know exactly what else.
Hold,
it's
scroll
doing
back
yet.
up.
Sorry.
Scroll back up. It says the humor from this image comes from the absurdity of plugging a large, outdated VGA connector into a small, modern smartphone charging port. Oh.
It's
okay.
just, yeah, I mean, it's not that it's funny on its own, but it's just, it can understand that.
Interesting.
And then I'm waiting to find out some of this other stuff that is in it.
And this is one day, right? It's just one day of
Yeah.
Chat GPT.
I even saw already there's like a robocall company that's going to make it so that if you get a call from a scammer, you hit a button on your phone I'm not even sure where you hit it. It instantly creates a 1,000-word lawsuit to go against them using what they just called you with.
Oh, my
And
God.
GPT 3.5 could not do that very well, and they're saying 4.0 is really good at it already today.
Oh, my God.
And I don't know where this goes or what happens.
Well, we're going to be completely entangled with this world of artificial intelligence.
You know what's crazy, man, is I don't want to have anything to do with
You
it.
shouldn't. Well, especially considering what you have been doing for all these years as a guide and an outfitter. It's like the last thing. It's like as far removed from that world as possible.
This may sound like so asinine, Joe, but I just look at it and I'm like, I already feel like I'm playing the coolest video game.
Right.
In
The
you know,
wild
like,
video
yeah, like
game.
the real
Yeah.
video game, man.
Yeah.
You know, like there's so many different like outdoor stuff, even beyond what I've done. Like, you know, I mean, over the last couple of months, I've become obsessed with tarpon fishing and go fishing with my kids every day. And I'm like, dude, there's like a million different little like outdoor adventures that I can take, and I can learn about the gear and learn about the skill set. Like, I don't want to have anything to do with the metaverse, man.
Tarpon fishing must be fun. Those things, but you can't eat them, right?
Yeah, you can't eat them
At all? There's no
well,
way to
I mean,
eat them?
I think you
Can't you
can
smoke them or something?
I think you can't. Well, so I don't know what they taste like or what the deal is. I mean, obviously you could eat them. I don't
Well, let's
think there's
Google.
any-
Why can't you eat tarpon?
The main reason they're not eaten is just because of their value as a sport fish. Sport fish.
That's it? But what
No,
about
no.
marlin? Because people eat marlin.
Yeah, but even billfish like marlin and sailfish and stuff, a lot of the times they don't eat them because they want to recatch them.
So it says tarpon are rarely eaten because their flesh is filled with small, hard-to-clean bones. In the United States, the tarpon usually is caught for sport and then released as a bony, strong-smelling saltwater fish. It may be more trouble than pleasure to eat.
Yeah, and I've heard that they're like very bony and stuff. Have you ever seen them, Joe?
No, not in the flesh.
Dude, they have like a prehistoric look, man.
A tarpon can be harvested only for those anglers that are seeking the state of Florida record for tarpon fishing. Are they only in Florida? Is it the only state that has them?
No, the Caribbean has them. Lots of places.
But I mean,
have
the
'em.
United States? Is Florida the only state that has them in the United States?
I don't think so.
So it says a special stamp must be acquired along with a saltwater fishing license to harvest a tarpon of any size.
Yeah.
Interesting. So,
And
so
that's-
if you want to get a trophy, you have to have a stamp in advance. Like, imagine if you're just tarpon fishing and you get a world record. Like, hey, I don't have a
Right.
stamp. You have to just let it go.
Yeah, a lot of times now with fish, like when people get them mounted, they're replicas anyways.
Yeah, of
you know,
course.
most billfish and
That's
stuff.
a weird
Yeah.
thing, isn't it?
It is kind of funny.
I've seen.
huh?
I went over a guy's house and he had a real trout, and I was like, "Oh, nice! This is a real one."
Yeah, yeah.
Because there's so many, like, for people that don't know, like, say if a guy catches, like, one of my neighbors is a big time bass fisherman, and he just sent me. I'll pull it up for you because he's pretty hardcore, and he just caught this. Shout out to my friend Alan. He just caught this 13-pound bass.
Oh, that's huge, man.
Yeah, that's pretty nice right there.
Oh yeah.
So what he'll do is he gets all the measurements and the photos of that, and then he brings it to a company that basically makes him a plastic fish.
Yeah.
So, like, my feeling is I would rather just have that photo.
Yeah,
of
just
him.
frame the picture up.
Frame that picture on
Yeah,
your
yeah.
wall, man, because he's a catch and release guy, so he lets the fish go.
Yeah.
But, like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Why you have a plastic fake fish? It's like if you had your kids, instead of a photo of your kid, you had a plastic version of your kid with fucking goofy fake eyes. That's so stupid. Why would you do that?
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Right?
To be honest, I've even on other the species we're talking about hunting, I'm kind of over taxidermy on that too.
You saw what I do.
Yeah, I see you do
I
Euros,
European.
yeah.
I learned that from Ranella. Ranella
Yeah.
was my first mentor.
Yeah.
And he's like, I just do not like the eyeballs, the whole thing, the plastic. It's like, yeah, like when I look at a mount, like a shoulder mount, I'm looking at this thing that's like not really the animal. And sometimes it's not even the real cape.
Sure.
It's someone else's cape.
Yeah.
Like, because when I hunt, a lot of people know that I don't use European mounts, so they'll say, "Oh, would you like to donate your cape?" And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Sure, yeah. Let's preserve the cape." So if someone needs a cape, because like sometimes a hunter will fuck the cape up, or they'll fall down a mountain or something like that.
Yeah.
But I just don't get it. That's a
Right.
statue. That's not the animal I shot.
Yeah.
I get it, like where you're recreating this image in your mind, like that's what he looked like when he's coming through the trees.
Yeah.
But don't you have a photo in your head?
Yeah, no, I'm with you on it, man. And it's crazy because I do like some of these taxidermists are they're so good at
Amazing.
it. Like, they do.
It's an art form.
They do a
Yeah.
phenomenal job. I just don't want to maintain them anymore. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like maintain them and drag them around when I move.
Right.
And then my kids, when they inherit them, they're just gonna throw them in the dump or something.
Right,
So it's
right.
kind of that.
That is a
mentality.
weird, like some people have trophy rooms in
Oh,
their
yeah.
house where their entire room is filled with these animals, like a sheep that's on fake rocks, looking around.
Yeah. Dude, and I'll admit, if I go somewhere and somebody has one of those, I like walking around it with them. And
Yeah.
they tell me all the stories about all the hunts. I just don't want one. I just don't want to.
Yeah, I'm not interested in that. But I think it's kind of dope. But
Yeah.
it's just like when you see.
You're not a hide guy.
No.
You don't no bear hides or anything.
I have some bear hides.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just not here. They're at my house. They're actually at my house in California. If I did ever shoot a brown bear, I'd mount that motherfucker.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Especially if it was a big one, like a Kodiak bear.
Yeah.
I would want that mounted because that's like, come on, man.
Yeah. My brother's got one in his like financial office, which nowadays is like totally like not politically correct. But when you walk in there, they got a big interior BC.
Well, you want to
grizzly.
Yeah.
But
Fight off the bear market.
yeah, that's right. Kind of
Yeah,
funny, but
it's very controversial, but it's controversial with people that don't understand it.
yeah,
That's really what it is. And it's controversial with people that don't understand ecosystems. They don't understand, I mean, a lot of them actually eat meat. That is
Sure.
the craziest thing. The people that don't eat meat, that don't like hunting. Or that eat meat rather and don't like hunting.
yeah.
That's strange.
You know, it's very strange to me, and I think a lot of the topics we're talking about, Joe, it's just a reflection of like this distance between the reality of being a human and the distance that we've put in between.
Yeah.
I was having this discussion. You know, you could go if you go behind any fancy steakhouse, like you go behind Gibson's in Chicago's Gibson's in Chicago, one of these like fancy steakhouses, or somewhere in Manhattan, if you went through the dumpster, you would find like a bunch of half steaks. Like you'd find 3/4 of a steak, half a steak, and to me it's crazy to think about that. Probably a lot of people that are eating in that restaurant, they're probably like against hunting, but they're willing to take half a steak and throw it away.
Yeah.
I don't know. To me, that seems so like wild to think, because it's like
it's just ignorance. I mean, they're against hunting, but they don't know what it is. They've never experienced it.
Yeah.
Or they have this version of it from movies.
Yeah.
Which is weird because
Sure.
the movie version of hunters is like from the movie Wolverine. Like the hunters are always the assholes.
Yeah,
and Wolverine
yeah,
has
yeah.
to kick their ass.
Yeah, dude, that's still the case in like in any show that a kid's show. If a
Yeah.
hunter shows up, he's like the dick.
Isn't
know?
that weird that that's the case, but it's not the case with fishermen?
Yeah.
When someone's
I don't
fishing,
know.
it's always a happy thing. Hi, fishing, just casting a fish. Isn't it interesting?
I don't know why that is, man.
Especially fly fishing. That's a gentleman. Like, you
Yeah,
never
yeah.
think of, like, a fly fisherman
Yeah.
being an asshole.
Well, it's all catch and release. That's their argument, I guess.
But it isn't always.
No,
You know?
yeah,
I mean, it's only catch and release in certain places.
Yeah, certain.
The catch and release thing is odd. I don't really enjoy it.
Yeah.
I mean, I've done it, but I'm always like, what are we doing? We're just fucking with these fish. We're just fucking with these fish, and we're trying to get like this weird little charge
Yeah.
out of catching them.
You know what's wild, man? Because since I sold my business, Joe, like I literally go fishing with my kids almost every other day.
So are you retired now?
Nah,
Or you
well,
sold
dude,
your-
I don't. I'm
taking some time
yeah,
off.
I'm working on. Well, I'm taking some time off, but I've actually been trying to crank on the YouTube deal, and
Oh.
really get that.
You put up some really good content and very informative.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it,
It's
man.
really good stuff.
So that's kind of like my focus, and I got some ideas that I'm gonna continue to work on that front. But
Do you want
like,
some more coffee?
no, I'm good, man. I'm good. As a matter of fact, I need to work on this a little bit.
Probably cold as fuck by now.
Well, the thing is, I was. My wife actually warned me before coming on here. She said, "Don't drink a bunch of coffee because you talk too fast."
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. She's giving you advice. That's so funny.
But it was good advice, so I'll take it. I'll take it from her.
That's hilarious.
But anyways, man, I lost my. Oh yeah, I was telling you.
Informative YouTube stuff. Yeah.
Well, yeah. So the YouTube stuff is one of my focuses, but this kind of period of time has given me some time to go fishing. I go fishing with my kids like every other morning.
Where are you
know?
living these days?
I'm living. Well, so I've been in Puerto Rico the last 4 or 5 months. I got a brother who lives there, so I've been down there, working on my stuff, but doing
Puerto
fishing.
Rico, huh?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I know some people that live down there. It's a good place to avoid taxes.
for some folks. But it's also, my time spent there, Joe. It actually, Puerto Rico is an interesting place. Like the whole legal structure of the place is interesting. But actually, from like an outdoorsman perspective, it has like all this, to me at least, like all this untapped stuff. But the problem is, I'm like that from that one kids cartoon, like where the dog sees a squirrel and is like, squirrel. With outdoor stuff, I'm like that, man. So I'm like, oh, tarpon fishing, and then spear fishing. So I tend to get drawn every way. But when I'm there, I'm like, dude, there's so many cool outdoor stuff to do there. I mean, I have a home there. But we were only going to stay there a couple months. We homeschool our kids, and now we've been there for 6 months. But Anyways, back to the fishing part of it, man. I didn't mean to get sidetracked. Is what's crazy with the catch and release thing? Like my little boy, he cannot believe that we would release anything. Like his
Right, because it's not normal.
Yeah, he's like
Yeah.
He looks at like your reaction to people's his reaction too. Like I mean, a lot of time, and we keep a lot of them. You know, little snappers and stuff. They cook them. They like to do the whole process. But he cannot believe, man. Like I'm like, all right, we got to turn this one back, and he's like, why?
Yeah,
You know,
what are you talking about,
and
Dad?
then he tries to negotiate with me, and he's like right before I put it back, he'll be like, Dad, can we use it for bait?
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Well, I think it's just normal human instincts, right?
Yeah. It's like, well, we're doing
Yeah.
this. We're
Like,
doing.
what is
this
the point?
Yeah.
What are we out
exactly.
here for? You just fucking with these fish?
Yeah.
Which is basically what fly fishermen are doing.
Right.
The barbless hooks. They're just out there fucking with fish.
Dude, I've heard you talk about it on this podcast, man. They're all after that feeling. Mm-hmm. You know, like there's that like jiggle
Primal
jiggle
feeling. Yeah.
Jiggle from a fish, man. But
If you could sneak up on people and shoot them with a suction cup, people would do it.
probably.
Yeah, if you knew you could just like, I got you, bitch.
Yeah.
And no one gets hurt. It's what people like.
Do you feel like you get that from that, like do you feel like the feeling like when a bull comes in when you're archery hunting or you make a good archery shot on a bull elk, do you feel like you get a similar feeling than you do like when you're, or like a related feeling when you're fishing and like you're
Yeah,
catching
it's a
something?
very minor version of the bull elk feeling when you're fishing.
Yeah.
You know, when you're fishing, you get a, ooh, what's this night? Oh, I got
Yeah,
one, I
yeah,
got
yeah,
one,
yeah.
I got one, got a good one.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's very exciting. I love fishing with my kids because I love that they can catch something and then they can cook it. And you know we
Sure.
can eat something that they got. Like my daughter caught a wahoo when we were in Hawaii. It was like one of the first times she ever caught like a really good sized fish. She's caught like at the time. This was like quite a few years back when she was. I guess she was probably like 5 or 6. She had caught like a couple of like little snappers and stuff like that,
Sure.
like deep sea fishing, just dropping a line down way low. But this was the first like really good sized fish she caught. She was so proud. And so when we were eating, you know, we're like, thank you for catching this.
Yeah.
You caught our dinner. She's like, all you people are eating because of me. It was fun. You know, it's like, it's exciting.
Yeah, of course, man.
You get that little charge out of catching a fish. But a bull elk is that times 10,
Yeah.
times 100, times 1,000. It's not even.
Yeah.
Derek Wolf said it best. He was talking about sacking Tom Brady. He's like, it's not even close.
Yeah.
He's like, sacking Tom Brady's fun.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But it's not even close to shooting a bull
Yeah.
elk. And I'm like, I'm so glad he said that because that's how I feel about like when people say, you know, they ask me, God, you do so many exciting things. You do stand up, you host the UFC, you know, all these different things you've done in your life. You used to fight. What's the most exciting? And I'm like, bow hunting elk is
Yeah.
about as heart pounding
Yeah.
and as exciting as possible. When you're hiding behind a tree and you're at full draw and you see the tips of those antlers moving through the brush and you know he's about to make it into the opening,
Yeah.
and you're like, holy shit. And you're
Yeah.
at full draw just sitting there. And then he comes in there, and then the arrow releases, and I use a luminox, so you see,
You can
or a
see it.
nocturnal. You see that green knock just sending it right through the golden triangle. You're like,
Oh, yeah.
yes! It's the greatest feeling in the world.
Yeah.
And knowing that you're going to eat that thing, and the smell of the fucking burning wood and the searing
Yeah,
meat, and I could smell it right now. It's the best food in the world too. I mean,
Yeah.
I prefer it over everything. I mean,
Elk.
I've had elk is my favorite. I really like Nilgai. I shot a Nilgai recently. It's very good, but elk is the best. I think it's the best. Axis is pretty goddamn good too. Axis.
Yeah.
Have you had Axis?
Yeah, you know, I had it, the Maui
Yes.
venison guys, they sent it to me.
But was it called Maui Nui?
Maui Nui, yeah.
Is that
yeah.
it?
Yeah. I think Maui Nui venison.
Something
I'm
like that.
sorry if I'm butchering it. But I actually...
Peter at T is one of the owners of that. We should probably say the name of it right. Is that what it's right? Is it Maui Nui? That is it. That's a great system that they have. So you can buy actual wild game from Maui, and it actually helps. There it is, Maui Nui. It actually, they've sent me a bunch of it. They have really good bone broth too. But the beautiful thing about it is that they need to get rid of these. It's an invasive species, and they have so many of them.
Yeah.
So it helps. It helps everybody. It helps the environment of Maui.
Sure.
And it's fantastic food.
Dude, I interviewed, I believe his name's Jake, who runs it. I interviewed him on Jay Scott's podcast, actually. And, dude, it's amazing to hear the rundown of, like, the process of how they kill them. You know, because they have like a I don't want to get in like the depths of it because I'll butcher it. But if I recall, you know, they essentially go in the field and they have a mobile, like, you know, USDA approved system that they put it through. It's pretty crazy, man. Like, I talked to him about just like the marksmanship component that went into it, because they have to kill them all by hitting them in the skull cap, even though they're wild deer. You know, but part of the whole
Arrangement.
Yeah,
They have to
arrangement.
die instantly.
Yeah, they have to die instantly, and it's pretty amazing what
round are they using?
Dude, I want to say he said 308.
Okay. And so are they shooting them at night?
Yeah, so they shoot them at night, and they use thermals. But my understanding is they can't use suppressors.
Why?
Because of Hawaii gun laws, I believe.
Oh, God, that's so dumb.
Which is like wild, man.
That's so dumb.
Yeah, it doesn't make any.
The suppressor
sense.
thing is so dumb. It's like people watch too many James Bond movies.
I know. Because they're
suppressors
awesome.
are great. They protect
Yeah.
your fucking ears.
Yeah.
You know, and the round's still just as lethal.
Yeah.
And as long as you zero it in right, it's still just as accurate.
I loved him. I loved him as a guide because, you know, muzzle brakes became so popular in the last like 15 years, and they take out so much recoil.
But
man, dude, if you get a guy, if you forget one time to have your ears covered, whew.
yeah, a buddy of mine lost his hearing because the hunter threw the rifle up to take an offhand shot, and he was
up by the muzzle.
he was off
Yeah.
to the side of it, and he lost his hearing.
Yeah,
His hearing aids now.
Yeah, it takes one time.
Yeah,
it's
one time.
crazy. Yeah.
It is interesting how it works, though, isn't it? You know, that this just having that compensator at the end of the rifle barrel
Sure.
releases all the gases out the sides and all the sound, and actually kicks less.
Oh yeah, and it takes a ton. I mean, a lot of these
Big
hunting-
difference.
Yeah. Particularly these like light rifles, guys are shooting on these, you know, up doing these mountain hunts and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can't hardly shoot them accurately over time unless you suck a bunch of the recoil out of them. Because you just people get so, you know, they just
Flinchy.
train themselves so well. Yeah.
Yeah, but you know, can you get some of that out with like good training?
Yeah, I think like the guy you talked to,
Joel Turner?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think guys, if they really embrace that system, you know,
Right.
that system, and go through the nitty gritty of it, they can. Like,
When you were guiding, was like archery hunting, was that like the most sketchy? Like, hey man, like let me see you shoot. You know, because there's so many people I think that pick up their bow like 2 weeks before elk season,
Yeah.
and shoot it 20 yards a few times. Like, oh, we're good.
yeah, dude, you know, I mean, outside of, I don't want to just pick on archery in this respect. I mean, I think it goes for all hunting. Is I think if you're not exposed to, you know, I guess, you know, hunting / like death a lot, you don't realize that how messy it can get. You know what I mean? And that goes for guns and archery equipment. And yeah, if I was being honest, I would rather guide a guy with a gun. You know,
Yeah.
just because all the situations over, and you know, I mean, I've guided a lot. I had a lot of guides working for me, so it's a lot of numbers. It's not like everyday occurrence, but you get into those situations where something gets hurt, and I'm talking like, you know, you could be following stuff for days, you know, trying to get it killed, and you know, and it's once you're exposed to that enough, man, enough, you become like, you just want it. You want everything to be right, you know what I mean? And the reality is with
and
archery.
it keeps, as a hunter, it keeps you from taking sketchy shots.
Yeah.
Where people just hope it works out.
Yeah.
It's one thing Joel Turner talks about. It's like you should never hope a shot works out.
No.
You should
Yeah.
be sure. Like when you are releasing that arrow, like he's so precise in his language.
Right.
When you're releasing that arrow, you absolutely know that arrow's going to hit its mark.
Yeah.
Because you've trained for it. The thing about all of it is that until you experience it, you really don't know. It's one of those things where people think they can keep it together. I kind of equate it to like a fight, because a lot of people think like, oh man, if I get in a fight, don't worry about me, bro. I know how to fight. But the reality is, like, in an actual physical confrontation, if you don't have any experience in it, you're gonna freak out. Your heart rate's gonna go through. Your heart rate is gonna go through the roof.
Yeah.
You're gonna gas out almost instantly. You're gonna full panic. You're gonna have tunnel vision. It's like you need to experience that to understand what it is, and to say that you can be calm in that situation.
Yeah, and like you were talking about, like the heart thump in these situations. Like, I mean, it'll feel like your heart's gonna blow out your chest, you know.
Yeah.
And I've guided people who, adults, they seem like competent guys, and there's so much pressure around a shot opportunity, or that at least they're manifesting it around them. Like you've been in the mountains, you've been, you're on a backpack, sheep hunt or something for 6-7 days in it. There's a bunch of money involved, a bunch of time involved, and then the guy gets a shot opportunity, and there's so much pressure, and there's like at that moment, and then boom, the gun goes off, and the first question I always ask, because it tells me a whole lot about what probably happened. I always ask a hunter, how did it feel? That's my first question to a hunter after he shoots, because that'll tell me a lot about what's going on, and I can. Several times I've had a guy go, I wish I wouldn't have shot. And I'm like, why? Like, why did you shoot? And the only thing I can...
Anxiety.
Yeah. It's just...
Panic. Get it over with.
Yeah. And it's crazy. It's like, dude, why did you shoot?
Well, do you ever have a conversation with them before that about that? And tell them, like, do not shoot unless you're ready. There's going to be a thing. And you have
yeah. Because my deal is like... And this is a very basic way to look at it, and I'm sure Joel would have a more sophisticated way for people who have time to go through the process. But I always tell guys with rifle hunting, if you don't, the primary thing you have to do is you have to get a good rest in the mount.
Yes.
That's like key.
That's the beauty of rifle hunting over bow hunting.
Yeah.
Is that with a good rest, and if you're prone in particular, like, God, I'm reasonably certain I'm going to fucking hit that animal every time. Yeah,
and that's what I, like in the discussion I have is like, look, first thing we're going to do is going to get a good rest, and then if you cannot keep the crosshairs within a defined vital area that we're talking about,
take the shot.
You tell me, and we're going to move your rest, get you a better rest, adjust your rest, maybe go from your pack back to your bipod, something like that, or we're going to get closer. But please do not shoot. And some of that's practical, you know what I mean, Joe?
Yes.
Like, I don't want to trek my ass around looking for those rams now that they're hauling ass over, two
it's also
rims.
for the experience of the person that you're doing it with.
Right, but it's also I don't want one to get hurt and it to go, it to become, a negative experience for everybody, the animal.
Sheep
being
hunting
hurt.
to me is a fascinating thing, because it's these weird rich guys that spend so much money. And for people that don't know, I was trying to explain this to someone the other day, and they were incredulous. They were like, "What?" I go, "It's hundreds of thousands of dollars for these governor tags." And they were going, "Shut the fuck up." I go, "Yeah, hundreds of thousands of dollars people spend to go and just hunt a bighorn sheep."
Yeah. I mean, my take on it, I've guided quite a few of the hunts, and so one thing about it is it's actually fairly small community of like sheep hunters. There's actually not that many of them. But the thing about it is, as a wildlife resource, they're also not all that abundant. So I think, if I was being totally honest, I would say that part of the whole like chic of the whole thing is just that it's scarce. Not everybody can have a tag.
Right.
Because, sheep hunt, a Rocky Mountain bighorn hunt is not that different than a high country mule deer hunt in a lot of ways, But obviously, just there's a species difference, right?
Well, the Alaska ones are pretty wild, though.
Yeah. Like the Dall sheep hunts.
Yeah, Dall sheep hunts are nuts. Like, people are literally risking their lives.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Like, that's the species where people die the most, right? They fall off cliffs.
So it might be by volume. In terms of my experience, mountain goat hunting is the worst by far.
Same kind of a situation, though.
Yeah.
Right?
But the thing is, Joe, mountain goats, they where the sheep stop, mountain goats start. You know what I mean? Dude, I cannot tell you how many times I've sat on goats just and been like, there's no way we're going to kill them there because there's no way we'll get them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I was actually talking to one of my guides about a week ago about it. And he's like, Cliff, you know, there's 3 times that I felt like there was a chance of me dying in my lifetime. And 2 of them when I was guiding mountain goats for you. Dude, it's just they live in the steepest shit you can imagine, man.
Yeah.
And I love them, dude. They're cool.
They are cool.
They're
And
way
the
cool.
way they can move off on insanely steep
Oh,
ledges.
blow your mind.
I
Yeah.
just like, do they have like flexible hooves? Like
Yeah. So they have
they
a
grip.
Yeah, their foot it's wider.
There they go. Look at them. Look at this motherfucker.
Yeah. These I believe
That's not mountain
I think
goats,
that's
it's
a
different kind
type
goat.
of ibex.
Ibex, yeah.
But same
But
stuff,
like, look
dude.
at that.
Yeah.
I mean, what in the fuck is happening here? Like, if I saw a man doing that, I'd be like, dude, get down, please, don't do this. Don't fucking do it. Like, this thing just knows how to do it.
Yeah.
But why is it not scared of heights? Like, what has genetic?
Yeah, there's that's a mountain
Oh, that's
goat
a mountain
there.
goat. Mountain goats are beautiful.
Dude, they're stunning, man.
They're so beautiful. That look at that. That guy's like holding it with his face. That's so crazy that they do that.
Yeah.
That they literally walk up the side of a fucking. That looks like a dam.
That one might be
Oh,
fake.
hey, how you
Is that-
doing? What's going on? Just chilling over here. See if you can find the white mountain goats.
Yeah,
though.
there's a
'Cause
bunch of pictures there, yeah.
They're so beautiful, man. Like, look at that photo. Go back to that photo you just had. Look at that photo. That's so beautiful.
Oh yeah,
Look
they're
at
way
that.
cool, man.
How delicious are they? They good?
They're not my favorite game meat, but they're pretty good.
That's
They're
where I'm
fine.
out. I'm not.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm only interested in hunting things that I really want to eat.
Yeah,
You
the
know?
primary.
I shot a
deal.
javelina recently, and I had it converted into chorizo. I was going to try it this morning, but I got up late.
I never tried it, but I haven't heard great things, man.
Well, the guys at the ranch that I'm at say if you turn it into chorizo, it's actually very good.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, we'll
Sure.
see. We're gonna find out tomorrow because
Yeah,
it was supposed
yeah.
to be my breakfast this morning, but I got up late.
Oh, I gotcha.
Yeah.
But no, mountain goats are. I mean, they're not gonna rank up with like elk to
Right.
me, you know.
Yeah, so that's why I'm out.
Yeah,
It's like
go
unless
elk hunting.
they run out of elk, well, which may happen in Colorado.
Yeah,
the wolves.
who knows?
Yeah, well, Colorado has more elk than I think any other state. Right?
Yeah. Yep.
For now.
By quite a bit. And in terms of hunting opportunity, you know, because they have so much over the counter stuff, which is starting to change a little bit. It's way more than other states.
For now.
Yeah, exactly. Dude, actually, back to the
Oh.
yeah. Back to what we were talking about on that, man, because I don't think I did a great job of explaining myself with the Yellowstone deal in that video. What I was getting at, Joe, is that people don't realize that when Yellowstone originally had a problem with the elk, they were sending all these elk out as transplants. So that was a way to actually control the population in Yellowstone.
I see.
And then
Yeah.
the rangers in the 60s, they were actually shooting them too. They they were shooting them to suppress the population. And they actually, what happened in the early 60s, they had like massive controversy on the park. And this is all documented. I'm a nerd, so I've read the history of it. But they wanted to have a hunt on the park to do exactly what this video claims the wolves did in the 90s. There was a lot of discussion in the 60s of having, like a draw or whatever and getting a bunch of hunters on the park to solve the range issue. Because see, what happened was they quit transplanting the elk off of it because everywhere, they didn't need to. Nobody wanted the elk. So the elk started to do some damage to the range there. So one of the proposals was to have a hunt in Yellowstone. Maybe just a temporary one, or whatever, to dissipate the elk. And one of the main reasons it didn't happen is that the park officials, and then I know there's some push from Washington, is they didn't want the elk to not be habituated to people. In the 60s, it's documented that one of the reasons they didn't have hunters in there is they wanted the elk to be comfortable with people.
Wow.
So to me, and people listening may not find this interesting, but to me, it's like a total bastardization of history, right? It's like, look, you're saying that the wolves did what they did in Yellowstone, and yeah, they probably they did help because there was way too many wolves, or way too many elk, particularly in those valleys and stuff, and they were hurting the range. But saying that it was attempted to do it with human intervention and it failed is a total lie, man.
Well, also there's a lot of value in taking those elk from there and like moving them to Kentucky and Pennsylvania and all those places where they've repopulated elk. Because elk used to be in basically every state, right?
Right.
Which is,
in the plains, and there's a lot of.
What do you think about that American Prairie Reserve situation?
I'm not super familiar with it, but my understanding is it's basically trying to are they directly buying up a bunch of private land?
They're doing block management on it. They're buying up all this land, and they want to convert it into this. But they're going to allow hunting on it.
Yeah. I mean,
they're going to turn it into this wild area with bison and pronghorn and everything. And it's like they have this design to sort of rewild that, but in a way with ungulates.
Yeah, I mean, I think all that stuff to me is a good idea, as long as that we rewild it and it makes sense in a way that hunters or people can still utilize it.
Yes.
I don't think it's so weird, Joe, because I think sometimes we forget that it's not like we're well, maybe who knows, but it's not like we're aliens. Like, we're part of the ecosystem too, man.
Yes, we are. But we don't think of ourselves as, because we're so far removed. We're so smart. We want to pretend that we're different.
Yeah.
That we shouldn't kill. We want to kill every day.
Dude, isn't that the crazy thing?
Like the steak in the garbage.
Yeah, dude. But like, everybody thinks that because Joe Rogan, there's a picture of him with a dead elk, that somehow that's different than somebody who indirectly still just lives their life and consumes, right?
Yeah, it's just ignorance. It's all it is. It's like I would tell those people, hey, come hunting with me, but I don't want them to. Like. Imagine if you're at full draw and they're like, "Get away!"
Yeah. That would not be.
That's a year worth of meat to me, you fucking idiot.
Not be good.
Yeah, but it's just a lack of understanding, and it's so difficult to truly understand unless you've experienced it. I'm very grateful that Steve Ranella took me out the first time. I did it with my friend Brian Callen from Meat Eater. We went mule deer hunting.
Yeah.
And it was so much harder than I ever thought it was going to be, and it was so much more interesting than I thought it was going to be. And then also there's a thing that ignites inside of you, very similar to the fishing thing, where you catch a fish, you're like, ooh. There's a thing when you're stalking an animal that your brain goes, oh yeah, I know what this is.
Yeah.
We've done this before. Like,
sure.
There's like a pathway in the mind that exists for that. Like, this is how you acquire meat. And there's an excitement to it because you're going to be able to feed your family.
Right.
So when I brought that meat back home and I was cooking it and I fed my family with this deer that I ate, I had decided that day. Like, I remember I was cooking with Ranella. We were eating the mule deer over the fire, and we were talking about it. I said, I'm doing this forever.
Yeah.
I'm doing this now.
Sure.
This is my new thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm doing, and he was laughing.
Yeah.
He loved it. He loved it that he converted me, because Callan never really got converted. He'll hunt with me and he'll hunt occasionally, but I fucking block off time.
Yeah, you got
I'm
focused
hunting.
on it.
I'm hunting.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's a primary part of my diet. I eat deer meat all the time. When I did the UFC last weekend, when John Jones fought, Daniel Cormier, who's he's the commentator next to me, and he's a good friend of mine. I always would bring him snacks, because I could bring him, there's this company called Carnivore Snacks, and they make these delicious snacks. So I'll bring him beef jerky, and this time I brought him deer sausage.
Yeah.
And he's like, man, I can't eat deer, because I ate bad deer once, and I eat deer, I get sick. I go, just try a little piece of the summer sausage. Just try. He's like, oh, shit, this is good. So he started talking about it on the air. He's like, Joe's got me eating deer sausage.
Yeah.
So in the middle of one of the fights, he's talking about me feeding him deer sausage.
Sure. Well, dude, I can tell you, in my business, Joe, I'm sure you know this, but you're talking about your little inner circle. You actually created like a trend within hunting. I would have guys call me, like 3-4 years ago, and it would always be kind of the same story. Like they're 35 years old, and they're into, maybe they're jujitsu guys or something, and just talking to them, having a conversation with them, but they want to come do their first elk hunt, and I would always ask, like, dude, like, what got you into it? It's always you, man. Like, you started like this mega trend, and it was kind of like I could almost identify my clients. I was like, oh yeah, like I know that those guys, they probably got like their influence or their motivation from you. So it's pretty wild to see.
Well, I feel like the more people that get into it, there's a lot of people that don't like that. They don't like that the trailheads are full. They don't like that there's a lot of people out there wandering around. But you can't think like that. You can't think like that. Those are allies. You need those people. You need more people that understand what it is.
Right.
And to think differently, I think, is very selfish and very stupid and foolhardy. I think you have to think about the small amount of people that hunt. I don't even know what is the percentage of Americans who hunt regularly.
Oh, it's small.
Let's guess.
I want to say it's 3%.
I don't even think it's 3. I'm gonna guess it's less than 3 who hunt regularly. I mean, I don't know what regularly is. There's probably different metrics that we could apply, but it's very small.
Yeah.
And I do understand. What does it say here? 15 million hunting licenses were issued, U.S. population that year, so 4.6%.
Yeah, but you're probably right, Joe. I bet you that less than half of them really hunt regularly.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Regularly.
Yep.
But that's still, okay, 4.6% of the U.S. population was issued a hunting license that year. And that's 2020. I think I'm responsible for 1%.
Yeah, I bet you are, man. Now, I can tell you this. From individuals that started hunting that are older than 25 and didn't have like a father that hunted or a family that hunted, you're responsible for way more than 1% of them, man.
That's hilarious. But listen, if those people can do it and be successful, they'll experience what I've experienced.
Oh, yeah.
And there's also the argument like, oh, you're wealthy, you can experience things differently, you get to go places other people can't go. Yeah, that's true. So I don't know what to tell you. What do you want me to do? Not be wealthy? Like, shut the fuck up. Just stop making excuses.
It's not really relevant. You know what I mean?
It's not relevant. And also, there's plenty of opportunities for people that aren't wealthy.
Well, dude, that's the thing, man. If you're in the U.S., from a hunting perspective, regardless of like your economic situation, you got the best opportunities on the hunting front.
There's nothing like it. There's nothing like it in the rest of the world.
I mean, the New Zealanders got some great opportunities too. It's just a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
But here, it's like, I mean, it's like you said, like, it's probably the most economical hunting situation I think there is in the world if you're an American.
Yeah. Texas is not the best. Texas is, it's great if you have money because there's all these private ranches, but Texas is like 90-something% private land.
Right.
And neighborhoods with deer.
Yeah.
If you're a jackass. It's like, I keep an eye on the deer in my neighborhood in case shit goes down.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's so many of them. They're fucking everywhere, man. They're everywhere. Because mountain lions out here are basically like coyotes. You see a mountain lion, you just shoot it.
Right.
Which is interesting.
Yeah,
it's coming from California where you go to jail.
Yeah, different way they manage them.
This is better.
Yeah. Do you have any interest in hunting lions?
I do. Yeah. I'd like to eat one of them.
Dude, they're you talk about like the heart thump.
Oh yeah.
Oh man,
I'm sure.
When I got into hunting them, Joe, like when dogs have one treed or in a cave or something like that, and you're making your way up there, and it'll make your heart blow out of your.
I can imagine.
And even, I love going and just taking pictures of them. Like I got a bunch of pictures on my phone of just me like selfies, just me being a jackass with a lion up here in the tree, or whatever.
The thing that's interesting to me is also the pushback on the dogs, and I get that. I really do get it, especially as someone who loves dogs, because sometimes the dogs die.
Yeah.
But the fairness aspect of it is which is interesting, and that's where I think education is very important and people understanding, especially from someone who's being honest and objective about it. Like I could absolutely understand why someone would say it is not fair to hunt mountain lions with dogs, but I will tell you that if you want to shoot a mountain lion, you're not going to. unless you use dogs.
Yeah.
Or unless you hunt over a dead animal that they've killed, you could find it and locate it. If you think you're going to stalk a mountain lion, you're going to go find them and stalk them, your odds of success are so low.
Right.
Like, you could do it for years and never see one.
Right. Yeah, no, I mean, it's just an effectiveness thing, right? The dogs are in terms of managing them.
Yes.
You have to have dogs. Now, I have known a few people, and I actually would love to try it one day. And I have tried it a few times without effectiveness. There are a few people that'll walk tracks out of lions, like in the snow. You know, they're just trying to find really fresh tracks, and then they'll walk them out. And I know a couple guys who have killed lions that way, but you're talking. It's a very small subset of lion.
It's
hunting.
not the best way to manage their population.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's what's bizarre about California is they don't manage their populations with hunters. They bring in mercenaries.
Yeah.
It's so crazy. Like, people don't understand. Like, they kill the same amount of lions every year.
Dude,
it's so foolish.
It's a wild thing. It seems like such a waste.
First of all, people, let's explain it to people. Because of the Pittman-Robertson Act, there's a certain percentage of hunting licenses, ammunition, all that stuff. What is it? What percentage of it? Is it 10%?
I can't remember what the tax is. But
it goes to wildlife conservation. It goes to habitat preservation. It goes to taking care of, like, rangers. It's like it takes care of, like, it's a beautiful situation. It's one of the best situations in terms of, like, the way it's managed. It's really beautiful. If you have a state like California that doesn't allow mountain lion hunting, you go, oh, well, that's good. We need to preserve the mountain lion population. Incorrect. They kill the same amount of mountain lions.
Right.
They kill them, though, with mercenaries. So they bring in some guy who's a mountain lion hunter, and he uses dogs, and he finds these mountain lions that are troubled mountain lions, and they wind up killing the same number of them.
Yeah.
But now the state pays this guy to go do it instead of you paying the state.
Right.
So instead of the Pittman-Robertson Act applying where, all this money now, where all these people apply for tags, all these people get tags, they go mountain lion hunting, and all that goes towards conservation.
Yeah, so you're talking about the direct tag revenue. And Pittman-Robertson is the tax on, like...
guns
and
ammo
and stuff like
but
that.
But all that stuff.
Yeah, all that stuff goes in. And it's crazy, like, and the thing is, this has come up in this wolf thing in Colorado a ton. Like, I've seen public comments, we need to have, if there is ever lethal control, it needs to be done by, like, professionals, right?
Hilarious.
And it's like,
what are you talking about?
Yeah, like, who are these professionals?
Are you gonna, yeah, by the way... Are there any?
Yeah, well,
what have they been doing all these years?
Dude, that's
these pro wolf hunters where you can't hunt wolves.
Yeah, that's the thing that's so funny. I guarantee you that the guys doing the lion, dealing with lions that are trouble in California, they're hounds guys. They're guys that grew up lion hunting.
Yeah,
and they're like, well, I'm just obsessed with this. The only way I can do it is if I'm working for the state or whatever.
I know a guy who does it.
Yeah, and I'm sure he's just like into lion hunting.
And here's what's the fucked up part. When there was a recent thing in the Bay Area where they did an analysis of the contents of their stomach.
Yeah.
It's 50% domestic pets.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. Once 50%. They figure it out.
Half of their diet is your dog.
I talked to a guy, I talked to a guy's son who was involved in a very long-term study of lions, and he was a houndsman, and he followed, like, the same toms year after year. Tom's just the term for a male lion, and what they found is that what he found and observed is whatever that lion's mom taught him to kill is usually what they would focus on. So, which is wild to think about. And I think some of these, when lions are pushed up against human populations, their moms it's like passed down generationally. Like, we're going to kill pets or whatever. But as it applies to, more normal situations, he told me that he would follow a tom that they treed and collared, like, year after year. And that tom would only kill bull elk. Like, he would walk through, tons of mule deer and only kill bull elk. Like, just kill after kill, for years would just be a bull elk, and he might, whatever. And then there'd be weird ones. He said that, like, they'd be following lions, and they'd find a cat that only killed coyotes.
Wow.
You know, or and maybe made some exceptions sometimes, but generally knew how to kill it, and they'd figure that out.
Kind of makes sense though.
Yeah. They're just mom just shows them the deal, because man, their moms. I mean, I have pictures from outfitting from cameras and stuff like that where you'd see these female lions with 2 kittens, and if I showed them to you, you're like, dude, that's not. Those aren't baby lions. It's like a pride of mountain lions, because they keep them with them. They keep their kittens with them for a couple of years sometimes, where they're big. You know? So I think they learn from their mom or whatever. But dude, they're fascinating.
They're amazing.
Freaking
animals.
cool.
Man, I feel the same way I feel about wolves. I'm so glad they exist.
Oh yeah.
But I don't want to be surrounded by them.
Yeah. Well, dude, and the thing is like I get what a lot of people are going to say about the wolves thing. They're like going to be like, well, Cliff, Joe, you guys are being dicks, because really what you want is you just want more animals to hunt, and you want to suppress the wolf population because of that. And yeah, part of it is that. At least speaking for myself, part of it is.
Yeah, every hunter would say that.
Yeah, part of it.
You want more
is
opportunities.
That, But there's the other point too, man, that you said, Joe, with just if you're being rational about the economics, and you assume, like, take Colorado, you just assume, hey, this ecosystem, there's a lot of people living here, there's a lot of other activities that affect the ecosystem. We have to have a rational economic approach of how we're going to take care of these animals and manage them. The wolf deal, like, I just did the rough math in my brain, and you take a wolf, and a wolf's going to kill 10 to, I think the estimate's like 12 to 18 elk per wolf per year, right? And so I was doing the math, like, your elk hunting in Colorado is basically, the success rate on most of the units is 10 to 15%. It's fairly low. It's tough hunting, in their, I call them over the counter units. And just so your listeners know, that just means you can go buy a tag. You don't have to put.
Yeah, you just go to a sporting goods store. Or
it's not ration. Just put a tag. So, anyways, you got 15% success rate. So that means if one wolf, just what he eats per year, he's going to kill 15 elk. That takes 100 tags that they can't sell, right? Because if you calculate in the success rate,
right?
So 100 tags. I mean, I'm guessing roughly, Joe, like the state's getting probably $300 a tag, right? Between, like, non-residents pay more than residents, whatever, but it's like $300 a tag. That means that wolf is eating $30,000 a year worth of CPW revenue. One wolf.
Yeah.
And that is wild, man.
It's wild to think about it that way, about revenue. But it's also the thing that gets me more than that even is the domestic animals, is cattle, sheep.
Oh, the livestock.
These people that are running livestock, like, they're fucked.
Yeah, well,
like, you're gonna have to deal with a whole new situation.
Yeah, it's going to be a massive pain in their ass. Now, they are going to get compensated. They will get compensated to the extent that they can prove it, and there's a whole system that's being worked out. So they'll get compensated for, livestock that is killed by wolves.
I have a photo. Jamie, see if you can find that photo that I put up on Instagram when I was hunting with my friend Mike Hawkridge and Ben O'Brien up in BC, where these wolves, we had found this moose calf right after these wolves had torn it to shreds.
Yeah.
And it was amazing because there was hair everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
And that was the thing that I didn't anticipate. I was like, oh, wow, this is weird.
Yeah.
There's fucking hair everywhere. I thought you would just see, like, bones and they would chew the meat off the bones.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, oh, I didn't even think about the hair.
They tear, like, tufts of it off as they're digging it. Yeah, oh, yeah.
And it's just, like, hair scattered everywhere, and then these bones that were just stripped down
just wipe
by
it
these
out.
wolves.
Oh, yeah.
And we had gotten there just very shortly after it had happened. Maybe it happened the morning of, or the night before.
Yeah, and they just get after it and just clean it.
And they do that every fucking day.
Oh yeah, man.
Every day they're constantly doing it, and they love it.
Yeah.
And it's exciting. And they're fucking mean to each other too. That's the other thing. All you tree huggers, you have to. You need to watch what they do to the beta males.
Oh yeah.
They tear them apart.
It'd be a rough existence being a guy down the totem pole a little bit in one of those packs.
Yeah.
You're starving plus getting your ass kicked every
Yeah,
time.
they're fucking tearing apart your hamstrings. Yeah, it's like they're ruthless animals, man. That's a literal dog-eat-dog world.
Survivors, man. But
Yeah.
imagine how good they get at it. And they have these tactics and stuff. I don't know how much of it's true or proven, but I've been with guys in British Columbia. They say they use the roads. The wolves use the roads to kill moose. Like
Really?
because you get in areas in British Columbia that used to be real remote, and then they put in logging, and then logging. There's a bunch of logging infrastructure. Yeah, and in the snow.
Find it? No, can't find it. I want to say it's from
Brian, who else was it? Were you with? Sorry.
Mike. Well, it's Mike Hawkridge's outfitting. Shout out to Mike in British Columbia. That was the first time, and actually the only time I ever hunted moose. That's
that's a cool picture
yeah,
with your
yeah. Eat what you kill.
Yeah, I found that
Found it?
picture.
Oh.
I found the moose.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's the moose. That's
It's up really fast.
that's.
Let me try the moose.
But there's a an image of that was on my Instagram of the moose calf that we found just covered in hair. It's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
I could probably find it on my phone if we can't find it. But it's
I know what you're talking about
yeah.
though, where they get where like the tufts of hair all
everywhere.
over the place.
It's
Yeah,
just you just don't until you see it. You're like, oh, this is happening constantly.
Yeah.
Like they're just a cleanup crew, just burning through
Yeah.
the forest, trying to find these animals, like scanning.
Yeah, yeah.
There's one. Let's move. Circle around them.
Yeah.
You guys get in front. We'll get to the sides.
Yeah,
cut
yeah.
them off.
Well, that's what I was talking about. So, and I don't know for sure this is proven or true or whatever, but the guys say that the tracks are like this. These wolves will get on the logging road, and like the main pack will work the logging road because it's easier in the snow. There's no downfall and stuff. So they'll work the road, and then they'll basically cycle a couple wolves off the road. Off into, they'll go out into the trees and try to pick up, moose or whatever out there. And then that wolf will get tired and he'll come back to the logging road, and then another one will go out. Pretty wild, huh?
I wonder how they coordinate that, and I wonder how they pick who does what. And
Probably instinct, or I don't know. Like, because they're dogs, they're not like, they're not capable of like communicating with each other, I
I
suppose.
wonder if they're communicating with pheromones or something. Maybe there's some way that we don't understand where they just. It could be just instincts bred off of doing that so many times.
Yeah.
It's just an unspoken language.
What's crazy is, man, fish do it too. Like you were talking about tarpon, they do the same thing. Like you'll see them, they'll get around mullet and they herd them up, into a bait ball. And I even noticed in like marinas and stuff, they'll herd bait like back in a corner. Like
You see them in marinas, which is crazy. You ever seen there's videos of people dunking their hand in the water with a hot dog, and a tarpon comes and grabs their
arm? They get
arm?
habituated to feeding.
How
So
weird.
they'll come to like fillet tables where they're fed, or places where they get fed.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, but they'll,
Huge tarpon
Oh yeah,
biting people's arms.
yeah, pretty wild. It's nuts, man. But they do the same thing, like those tactics. And you know what I've learned to do? I mean, I'm going to sound like a total dork here, but I've gotten really into throwing a cast net to catch bait.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Like this is like I get
That's cool.
I get infatuated with these things. So me and my little boy, like every morning at sunrise, like we're gonna go catch bait to go fishing. So what you realize is I get up I call them like my little glassing points, but they're literally like. I mean, my house is in a country club there, dude. So I'm like cruising down on my golf cart with my cast net. Like I'm the only guy in the country club that does this kind of shit, But anyways, we go to my little glass spots where we can look, down the marina. We can look on the ocean for birds or whatever, working bait. But a lot of times, how we find the bait is you can see the tarpon, like kind of pushing them around.
Really?
Yeah. Well, and then they'll get them again. See, they'll get that bait like over on the side somewhere where I can throw a net on it.
Yeah.
Because if it's out there and it's dispersed, like it's hard for me to net it. But
I went fishing in Mexico once, and there was I think there were Jack Crevalle that were they had like this swarm of them
Yeah.
that were attacking bait fish, and I'm telling you, it was like half a
Oh, yeah,
football
dude.
field.
Yeah.
And you just cast into there, and
Yeah.
immediately
Yeah,
you
but
catch
they
something.
had the bait like balled up.
Yeah.
Isn't it wild?
It
And
was
then
wild.
they think they ball the bait up and they just whack, 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 whack.
Yeah,
start
they just
hitting it.
whack 'em.
Yeah.
And you just cast into that chaos.
Oh yeah.
And you were pulling fish out.
Yeah. No, it is. It's cool how, I guess I didn't mean to get off track, Joe, but I don't. How are they communicating, man?
Right.
Because
How
it
do
sure
they
as hell seems
coordinate
like they
that?
are.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
You know, but maybe it has to. You see the bait fish do that too. Like they're somehow knowing to turn and everything.
Yeah. Well, that's
how they
like
do
birds.
Yeah,
Like,
oh, yeah.
How are they doing that? We don't
Yeah.
really understand how they don't slam into each other.
Yeah, who
like
knows?
people bumping each other in the street.
Right.
Like how do birds flying in the sky?
Yeah. Without any verbal communication
it's
or whatever.
amazing.
I
It's
don't
so
know.
fascinating. It's like what we don't know about nature could fill volumes.
Yeah,
You
dude.
know?
That's why I have no interest in the metaverse.
Well, you're not alone, apparently. It's didn't really sell. I thought that was an interesting moment in technological history, because when you got a guy who's as influential as Mark Zuckerberg and with a giant company like Facebook, they literally changed their name to Meta.
Yeah.
And then pump these Oculus headsets out and like this is the next level thing.
Yeah.
And Mark came here and he gave us a demonstration of this stuff, and we did some things like we did a fencing game and
They're amazing.
amazing.
Yeah, dude.
Amazing. You know what's the most incredible, dude, is the boxing game.
Okay.
Boxing games are so fun. It's a great workout.
Yeah.
Because you put the headphones on and the headset rather, and the headset is wireless, right? So it's just a thing that sets up to your
Yeah.
head, and then you have these things in your hand.
This is the Oculus.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
so
yeah.
you start the game and you're in there with a
Yeah,
guy
yeah.
and you hit him and you see his face snaps back.
Sure.
And he hits you and you see like a white flash.
It's crazy.
And it's a really good workout.
Oh yeah.
It's a really good workout, and you can actually work on your skills. You can actually.
Oh, it applies.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, you're not hitting anything, so it's not like hitting a bag or hitting a mitt.
Yeah.
But you're bobbing and weaving.
Sure.
You're seeing punches coming your way. You're shifting and then countering. There's all this stuff that you do that is fantastic for cardio. It's
yeah.
and it's fun. It's like you're playing a game, but like we had it at the old studio, and I did a couple of rounds. Like, dude, I am exhausted, and more importantly, like my feet hurt. It was like my feet
you're
were
moving around,
exhausted.
sure.
Because
Oh, you're like
you're
you're
pivoting,
flexing in
your
feet.
toes in a
Yeah.
weird way. Because
Oh,
we were
yeah.
doing it on concrete,
Sure.
I was like, this is wild.
Yeah.
This is a great workout.
Dude, I've played the climbing game. Have you played it?
No.
Dude, the climbing game, when you fall, so you're doing all these crazy like Yosemite climbs or whatever with the thing. My brother has that game.
But when you
when you fall,
fall.
it's like,
Oh my God. Fuck that.
you should do it, man. It'll take your breath away. Like,
Well, they had one that we did where you're walking across a balance beam in between
okay.
two buildings.
probably similar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but yeah, the regular wild is way more interesting.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
There's just as much adventure out there.
But you have to be willing to actually go there. Whereas you could just fucking put that
Yeah.
headset on, and all of a sudden you're on a mountain.
Dude, what do you think? What do you think? I always contemplate this, man. Like, what do you think stops people from doing it? Like, just going.
Time.
Yeah.
Time, lack of understanding, no mentors, just don't have the
Yeah.
opportunity.
Sure. Then I think hunting in particular is like that too, man. Like the learning curve is, I don't think steep's like the right term. It's just intimidating. With all the regulations
Yeah.
and all that stuff, it's hard for.
I think it's steep.
Oh, yeah,
I think
yeah.
it's steep, and then there's also like understanding the wind. Like,
Oh, yeah.
there's so many things that aren't intuitive. Like, where do you start in terms of like buying glass?
Yeah,
I mean, how many fucking podcasts are there? Like Aaron Snyder has like 5 of them.
Yeah.
Where you're just breaking down the difference in glass quality on binos, edge
Yeah.
to edge detection, and like fuck.
Sure. Man, dude, in the technology in hunting, in like just the whole gear component of hunting has grown so much in a positive way, in the sense that gear to go out and do a backpack hunt or something like that in pretty rough conditions where it's cold at night and all that, it's so much easier now. There's
Yes.
lightweight tents.
Oh, yeah.
There's great layers. Like, this stuff's phenomenal.
Phenomenal.
But at the same time, there's part of me, and I guess for some reason this kind of theme has come out in my YouTube channel. I think the whole gear infatuation about it, it intimidates people, and it shouldn't. Like, I hate that to be a barrier, right? Like, you don't need to spend thousands of dollars, or more than that to go on your first elk hunt.
Right,
You know what I mean?
right.
You can go do it. It might not be quite as comfortable or whatever, but you don't have to have all this stuff.
I think
you know?
what's one of the most intimidating thing is getting into archery.
Oh, yeah.
Because, like,
yeah.
you can't just buy a bow and practice. Like, you have to go get it sized. You have to put the peep in the right place.
Right.
You have to get arrows that match the bow. You have to get a scale that matches the rest, that matches the sight. Like, all of that is crazy. Like, how do you do that on your own? Oh, just run Archer's Advantage software. And like, what?
Yeah, what are you talking about?
Like, how many grains are your arrows? I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
Like, imagine the average person just with zero help.
Yeah, and
trying to start a bow.
not everywhere has like here in Texas, you guys are spoiled because you got good archery shops.
Oh, we have a great one in Austin. Shout
Yeah.
out to Archery Country. It's fucking phenomenal.
Folks in there that know what they're doing.
I used to send my shit up to the bow rack,
Oh, okay.
in Oregon, Springfield, Oregon,
Yeah.
because it's like such a good place, and that's where Cam's from. I was like, well, they'll just send my bow there, and they'll send it to me. That was easy.
And they get you set
Yeah,
up.
or Dudley. I would send it to Dudley, and
Yeah,
Dudley
yeah.
would take care of stuff.
Yeah.
But it's like, for the average person, like, that's not an option. So what do? It's like you have to go somewhere. They have to measure your draw length.
Yeah.
They have to find out what the peep height is, and then you have to practice. And so you need a place to practice. And a lot of people live in apartments. So how the fuck am I going to practice?
Right, yeah.
Like,
There's just a
where
lot
do
of
you go?
practical-
There's a lot.
Yeah, I
A
mean,
lot.
I guess that answers the question, Joe. Is like, you almost have to, in a lot of ways, if you get really into it, you almost have to like shift your lifestyle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, I most certainly changed my lifestyle. When I got into it, I just decided, like, that was going to be something I'm doing every year.
Yeah.
So, okay, now I
Sure.
have this new thing that is. But for me, it's an amazing reset. Like, my life is filled with so much pressure and stress of a different variety. That's odd that's the most pressure and the most stress, but it's also the most relaxing.
Yeah.
And the most, it's like just being in the woods, no cell phone service, no nothing. Just stalking and just hiking the mountains. And also knowing that I have to be in amazing cardio shape.
Sure.
Like, when I'm working out in fucking February, I'm literally thinking while I'm working out in February, the more I push, the less tired I'm going to be in September.
Yeah, sure.
It's crazy.
Yeah, no, but that's cool, man. It's cool when, like, a hobby basically can change somebody's life. You know what I mean? You can get obsessed with it, and there's other things that do that.
I think it enriches your life. I really do, because I think complex, difficult things that are very rewarding, and I don't think there's very many things that are as rewarding as hunting, because you're actually getting food from it and actually feed family and friends, and you feed yourself, and it's so nutritious and so much better for you than any other kind of food, that I think that it's one of the most rewarding, difficult things. And I think the more difficult things that a person does on purpose that are rewarding, I'm not talking about like life struggle. I'm talking like choosing to do things, whether it's workouts or tasks or problems you're trying to solve on purpose. Those are very valuable to your overall resiliency as a person.
Right.
And I think that is something that I've really gotten from hunting.
Sure. And like every time you do another one, it becomes easier to take.
Yes, and there's lessons that I learn from each individual hunt. There's things in it, like I went hunting with Ranella a couple months ago, and it's the first time that I'd ever rattled in bucks, which was wild.
Yeah.
We were in South Texas.
Sure.
And literally we would set up and he would start clackety-clack, clackety-clack. And all of a sudden you hear some sound and you got to get to full draw, right away. Because these fuckers are just running in.
Yeah, because you're rattling in thick cover.
Yes.
Yeah.
South Texas.
Yeah.
Thick
I got
brush.
you. Yep.
Yeah. So it was very exciting.
Dude, I've never done it, but I know some folks that have really got into rattling.
Oh my God!
But more in open country, like where they can see a little bit, and you see like whitetail coming from way far away in the guy's rifle.
It's crazy how well it works at the right time. Like
Yeah.
when they're down to fuck.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
it's going down.
Yeah.
Like you're just catching them when they think that there's a brawl going down over some ladies.
Yeah, yeah.
So like, oh, must be some hot ladies in that area. So they just start running.
Isn't it funny? And I don't know why this is, but I don't think I'm the anomaly here. Isn't it funny how there's kind of enjoyment in manipulating them?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't like with elk. It's the same way.
Oh, it's the best.
You know, I mean, I used to do a fair amount of.
That's it.
Fucking
You found it.
Oh yeah.
He found it.
2014.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Took a while
Yeah.
to get there.
So that was back when I was still rifle hunting.
Oh yeah. They just
Look at that. Look at all the hair.
Tore
All
it
that
up.
stuff on the ground is hair. Which for people at home, this is November 11th, 2014. And it was just hair everywhere. And that was a moose calf that they had got.
and they just tear it up. You know,
Tore it
it's-
apart. Look at that. Like everything's gone. The tongue's gone. The esophagus is gone. All the organs are gone. The rib cage still stands, but all the organs have been eaten out of it.
Yeah.
I mean, all the skin off of all the the hindquarters is gone, except for the lower parts.
It's funny, man, because they're kind of
Shout out to Mike Hawkridge,
yeah.
my man.
Dogs or coyotes are kind of like that too. They're kind of dirty eaters, but lions, man, they're like tidy, because they don't, they'll store their kills. It's kind of wild. Have you ever seen a lion kill where one's
No.
got it piled up or whatever?
No.
I'm sure I got some pictures on my phone, but it's pretty neat, like how they'll cover it up and it'll be tidy, and they'll come back,
Yeah.
come back and they'll peel it back, and
I don't think
effective.
hunting's for everybody, but I think it's for a lot of people. I just think they don't know it.
yeah, dude, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, believe me.
One of the things about Texas, there's a lot of opportunities for invasive pigs. And my friend Jesse Griffiths, who is the head chef and owner of Dai Due restaurant
Okay.
in Texas, he has an organization that trains people, teaches people how to hunt, takes them out hunting, shows them how to hunt, how to butcher the pig. What is it called? New School of Traditional
Nice.
Cookery. Yeah, Jesse's the best, and Jesse is an amazing chef. If you're ever in Austin, Dai Due restaurant is the fucking shit. I love going there. I go there all the time.
Okay, and he has like a little school.
Yes.
And he's doing it with wild pigs.
Yes. Click on that full bore just so you can see some of it. We don't have to play the music, the volume rather. But this is his restaurant, and so in the restaurant he's actually prepping some of these wild boars and showing people how to cook it. And he was with us in South Texas, by the way.
Oh,
And so
okay.
he cooked for us while we were there. He was hunting ducks, and he cooked some duck.
Oh yeah. I saw like something on Instagram.
Yeah, my
about
Instagram.
It. Yeah.
I put it up on Instagram where he was. So he teaches people how to hunt, how to shoot these animals, where to hit them, like the whole deal. He takes them through this whole process, and he does a very small group of people at a time. Shows them how to make sausage.
Yeah, he
shows
goes
them-
through the whole
It's
deal.
amazing,
Yeah.
and I'm telling you, man, his cooking is so good. He took diver ducks and made the most delicious shit you've ever had in your life.
Oh, nice. Most people call diver ducks shit ducks.
Oh,
'cause
they
it's
were
hard to-
so good though. The
But they
way
were
he
good.
cooked it, but as you could see it here, he really knows what he's doing, and it was just such a treat to have that guy cook for us
Sure.
while we're down there. It was amazing.
Yeah. Well, man, and cooking game, it matters so much, right?
Oh,
There's so many
yeah.
species that people have told me like, oh, dude, you can't eat those. And then if the right guy cooks it, he's like, yeah, it's pretty.
That's why I'm looking for this javelina chorizo. that
Yeah,
I'm gonna
yeah.
Cook tomorrow morning. Well, Cliff, thank you very much for being here, man. I'm glad we did this. I was thinking about doing this for a while, so I'm glad we got
Dude,
together.
I'm forever grateful for having me on, man.
My
Thanks
pleasure.
So much.
My pleasure. Oh, tell everybody what your Instagram is so they can find you, or whatever social media you use. Your
Yeah.
YouTube page as well.
Yeah.
There's
So yeah, my
Cliff GRY. It's Cliff Gray, but it's Cliff GRY
yeah.
on
Don't
Instagram.
ask me why.
Why don't you
but-
have an A?
Because the other Cliff Gray already got it, man.
Oh, okay. So you're Cliff GRY on Instagram.
Yep.
And then your YouTube channel is you have pursuitwithcliff.com.
Yeah, so pursuitwithcliff.com. I got a newsletter and that sort of thing. People can go on that website and sign up. And then my YouTube is just my name, Cliff Gray.
All right.
And so that's easy to find too.
Beautiful.
But yeah, I look forward to, follow along. Thanks for having me on, man.
My pleasure, brother. Very, very fun.
Yeah,
All right.
thanks,
Bye,
dude.
everybody.